reports being hit by some sort of projectile overnight.
What's been happening in the Strait of Hormuz really underscores the continuing threat to shipping there. We don't have too many more details, but it was 20 nautical miles off the coast of Oman on the southern side of the strait, not on the northern Iranian side. And this is indeed where we have had other reports of explosions taking place close to vessels in the past few days. Now, traffic going through the strait has remained very slow. Just 6 vessels going through yesterday, according to shipping data.
That's the BBC's Yolande Nell. He describes the Spokane wildfire destruction as resembling a war zone. Gent Welsh with the Washington National Guard expects a lot of heartbroken homeowners.
When you finally get in there and you finally look at the devastation and damage, and it's going to be pretty interesting as people go in there and to just grapple with the damage and grapple with the fact that their lives are forever changed. Some of these folks may not recover. Some of those folks may not rebuild in there.
A 37-year-old man is under arrest, accused of intentionally starting one of the 3 Spokane wildfires. The Senate Judiciary Committee is poised to approve the Attorney General nomination of Todd Blanche, a vote expected later this morning. President Trump says he is really disappointed with Washington, D.C.'s U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro for dropping the reflecting pool vandalism case. On Wall Street this morning, Dow futures are up 43 points. NASDAQ futures 182 points higher. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Kirk Cameron, Christian Healthcare Ministries is not another health insurance policy. If you're tired of year-long contracts and pointless restrictions, CHM offers anytime enrollment on your schedule and at your convenience. With CHM, you're paying half cost of a traditional health insurance plan. So that puts more money back into your budget for everyday needs. Plus, you'll have access to CHM's care solutions for virtual appointments, prescription savings, surgery support, and more. My family and I joined in 2018, and it's changed our lives for the better. We love paying way less while helping other believers afford their medical bills. Take the leap of faith and see why Christians across the nation are better with CHM.
Get started by calling 1-833-JOIN-CHM and use promo code WELLNESS for a 50% credit towards your first month. That's 1-833-JOIN-CHM and use promo code WELLNESS.
Without being propped up from the outside, communism is failing Cuba, and in some of the most basic ways.
The Trump administration effectively cut Cuba off from oil in January. The collapse of the energy grid has much of the island with no electricity on a regular basis. Elaine Dellis is sleeping on the seawall, the Melicon. She says when we start to hope that the system will hold, then it goes down again. I don't know. There is no solution. During this latest blackout, the temperature hit 93 Fahrenheit in Havana, but it feels like 106. Alexi Rios says everything is going backwards. Tomorrow it is going to happen again. Rolling blackouts in Cuba now last more than 20 hours a day. I'm Ed Donahue.
Europe is grappling with a record-breaking hot, dry summer as wildfires rage. Water-dropping planes involved in the battle against a major wildfire in Greece. News and analysis, townhall.com. President Trump goes to war, waging a legal battle against big banking.
Capital One closed President Trump's accounts in mid-2021 after flagging financial activity that resembled money laundering. The bank disclosed this in a court filing over the weekend. Trump has sued Capital One, alleging the closures were politically motivated following the January 6 Capitol attacks. Capital One seeks to dismiss the lawsuit, stating the closures followed months of analysis by its anti-money laundering team. Trump has also sued JPMorgan Chase, claiming similar political motivations. Both banks deny these claims, citing unusual practices as the reason for severing ties with President Trump. I'm Ken Sweet.
Investors in Elon Musk's space company get a chance to question him today. First quarterly earnings call since the IPO. Stock in SpaceX down by half from its June peak. Investors worry that Musk had oversold investors on its future prospects. More on these stories, townhall.com.
MyPillow's second annual mega sale is finally here. Get our patented premium MyPillows that adjust your exact individual needs to give you the best sleep of your life.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
I guarantee they're going to be the most comfortable pillows you'll ever own. King size only $24.98, queen size only $19.98. Giza Dream bed sheets, the best sheets in history, as low as $29.98. Lux Pierce 6-piece towel sets, towels that actually dry you. What a concept. Now only $39.98. And our made in the USA mattresses and mattress toppers as low as $99.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. Plus, free shipping options available when you order today. So don't delay, order now.
Trouble getting to sleep and staying asleep is infuriating. Your mind races, you toss and turn. Nutrition company Healthy Cell created REM sleep to help you quickly fall asleep, stay asleep, and sleep deep. Unlike other supplements that don't work, REM sleep is not a pill. It's a gel you swallow with ultra-absorption of science-backed ingredients supporting all 4 stages of sleep. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order. Risk-free. Love it or your money back. Guaranteed. Healthycell.com. Code GODZILLA.
This is Crom Carmichael, CEO of Solti. We got a wonderful email from one of our customers up east named Joe, and here's what he had to say. I started taking Solti almost out of desperation with little hope because I was resigned to the futility that although I was up to taking 2 statins a day, high cholesterol was something I just had to learn to live with. In fact, when I turned 60, after taking a stress cardio test, my doctor called me on a Saturday, which of course is never a good sign, and told me that I was clogged more than 95% of the people my age. I had an angioplasty and a stent procedure done at that time. Today, my stubborn triglycerides are only 1/3 of what they had been before starting taking Solti. My prescription statin dosage has shrunk from 60 milligrams to only 10 milligrams a day. My primary care doctor that I have had for many years still can't believe the results, and neither can I. Thank you, Solti, for providing such a wonderful product. And folks, I want to invite you to take care of your heart also by going to GodzillaHeart.com. That's GodzillaHeart.com. Use the code Godzilla at checkout, and you'll get a 50% discount on your initial shipment. Thanks so much.
Hey folks, Al Green here for SatPhone. When you're on the go, you want to know you're connected. If it's a family vacation or an off-the-grid escape to a remote destination, having reliable communication helps you feel safe and secure. You can't afford to find yourself in a dead zone. That's why you need SatPhone. SatPhones are reliable, durable, and give you global coverage. If you can get outside, you can get in touch. It's that simple. Make calls from your SatPhone to any regular cell phone in the United States. The phones are $1,500 value, but you can get yours free. Just sign up for a 15-month plan, $94.95 a month. Get 150 minutes monthly that roll to the next month. Go 3 months without using them, that's fine. Yes, 3 months, 450 minutes, all yours. Visit SAT123.com or call 855-980-5830. SAT123.com, 855-980-5830. Get surety and security with your SatPhone. Call now.
Washington is wasting $500 million every year on a federal supervision system that doesn't work. Probation officers are overwhelmed. Resources are going to people who pose zero threat, while actual dangerous individuals slip through the cracks. The Safer Supervision Act stops the waste and refocuses every dollar on protecting families from harm. President Trump's own pollster found about 80% of Trump voters want this fixed. It's time for Congress to get this done. Stop the waste. Protect our communities. Visit safersupervision.com. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
Well, happy Tuesday morning, listening fam. This is the John Fredericks Media Network. I'm Dan Hub. Good time for a look at, among other things, weather and sports. We'll start as we always do with where I am in the old-time capital of the South of Richmond, Virginia, where the high today will be 83 degrees with storms. Still storms tonight with a low of 72. Right now, the temperature also 72 in the River City. Squirrels versus Reading, weather permitting, at CarMax Park this week. 7:05, first pitch tonight. In D.C., you're looking at a high of 89. Storms developing late this afternoon and into the evening when the low will be 76. Right now, the temperature in Washington, 74 degrees. The Nats fall to the Phils in Philly yesterday, 6-3. In Atlanta, you're looking at a high today of 85 with possible storms. A low tonight of 71 with solid storms expected. And the temperature right now in Georgia, 73 degrees. The Braves host the Marlins for a series starting tonight. First pitch, 7:15 p.m. In Nashville, you're looking at a high today of 89, a low tonight of 69. Right now, the temperature in Middle Tennessee, 74 degrees. In the city of brotherly love, a high today of 88, a low this evening is 71. Right now, the temperature in eastern Pennsylvania, 70 degrees. Nats at Phil's, 6:40 p.m. tonight. Morgantown, shout out to all yins. High today of 89, a low of 68. Right now, the temperature is 60 degrees in wild and wonderful West Virginia. And last but certainly not least, for my Yinzers in the 412, a high today of 88, a low of 71 tonight. Right now, the temperature blissful 59 degrees. Buccos, fresh off of trading for a couple of relievers, including Luke the Dream Weaver, topped the Brew Crew yesterday 4-3 in Milwaukee. First pitch tonight, 7:40 p.m. In other trade deadline news in MLB, the Cubs trade for right-handed pitcher Clay Holmes with the Mets, and the Red Sox get catcher Adley Rutschman from Baltimore. Bringing you today's weather and sports update is the Godzilla Wins radio show. For the best insight, analysis, and picks, watch and listen to Godzilla Wins Saturday mornings from 9 to 11 all across the John Fredericks Media Network. Plus, to get John's daily sports picks, go to GodzillaWins.com. Once again, that's GodzillaWins.com. And now, for a few words to the wise, get ready with those active minds, everybody. So I wanted to return to more overtly legal-oriented topics for the next several days, and I'm starting with the concept of free speech. Misunderstanding abounds regarding the concept, even in our woefully unenlightened courts. So let's dive in. First, a blissfully simple designation between peaceful speech and forceful speech. The right to free speech corresponds to the former. The right excludes the latter. According to the principle here, the content of your discourse may be anything that you want, so long as it stops short of constituting an unprovoked, undue threat that puts somebody in jeopardy. May you yell fire in a crowded theater? Well, sure, if the theater is ablaze. I kind of hope that you do in that circumstance. But if no evidence exists that a fire is actually ablaze and you yell fire anyway, that's going to be a problem, as you're fraudulently using speech so as to cause a panic and unjustly endanger people. So remember, peaceful speech, okay. Forceful speech, not okay. Now, speech can be forceful on account of its coordinates, regardless of its content. Let me repeat that. Speech can be forceful on account of its coordinates, regardless of its content. I'll explain. Someone has the right to speak his mind in his own den and on his own dime. Conversely, someone does not have the right to speak as he pleases on and in somebody else's. Even if the content of your speech is peaceful, you speak at the privilege of somebody else if you're on another's property or in the confines of another's employ. I suppose that in a certain sense you could say what you want in these situations, but you certainly wouldn't have some sort of legal sanction or immunity accordingly. And on that note, do realize that while you have legal sanction and immunity for bona fide free speech, that's all that free speech grants you. The government may not prosecute you for your peacefully expressed views, but by sensible jurisprudence, this doesn't mean that your employer can't fire you, or that the socials can't ban you, or that your neighbors can't shun you, etc. They have the right to act in favor of their judgment, and again, our rights entitle us only to what is in our domain. Our rights do not obligate others to ourselves whatsoever. I hope that this crash course on free speech has helped. You can also apply the same inferences to freedom of religion, which of course legally sanctions only the peaceful observation of scriptures and creeds. Muslim savages, take note. We'll pick up here tomorrow with a subtopic offshoot of today, but in the meantime, this has been Dan Hobgood for the John Fredericks Media Network. Outside the Box with the Ox is next, followed by The John Fredericks Show. Stay tuned, everybody.
Republican Republicans politically have to answer to Democrats about Trump policies and their opinion of him, pushing them to either distance themselves, in which case they lose friends and have their entire history condemned as worthless, or to wholeheartedly embrace, in which they lose friends and have their entire history condemned as worthless.
Mr. President, perhaps you should transmit a planetary distress signal while we still have time.
Meanwhile, without a figurehead, epitome, if you will, of what they stand for, Democrats are allowed to sneak around, never having to defend boys and girls sports, unwanted electric vehicle mandates, sex changes at public expense for 5-year-olds with or without parental consent, nipping on social media, appearing or even hosting on MSNBC, CNN. Now with the Democrat Socialists of America blossoming onto the scene, finally Republicans have something to push back in the Democrats' faces. Not, because as long as this rift continues, Democrats won't or can't name their leader. Thus, there's no objective opponent like there is in the Republican Party with Donald Trump. No specific target. Thinking outside the box, Republicans could take it upon themselves. Pick a Democrat politician, anybody, post all their opinions on issues, responses to questions and such, brand that person as the leader, and then assault him or her relentlessly as a litmus test for being a Democrat or not. Preferably someone feisty who would welcome the focus and intimidate other Democrats to not push back or else.
Why are you two always fighting? I like the way she fights.
Outside the Box with the Ox is brought to you today by Gens Financial Services.
John Fredericks.
It is the most egregious thing I've seen in a lifetime.
President Trump.
The whole thing is ridiculous.
When politics start getting wild.
They want to have every single thing that you don't want. Raise taxes. Men and women. John, thank you very much, and you do a great job.
Right now, download the new WV Sports Nation app from the Apple Store or Google Play and get the entire Mountaineer sports world in the palm of your hand. Right now, get notified when new stories drop about your favorite Mountaineers teams and athletes. Download the WV Sports Nation app right now. Get updates on next level Mountaineers like Weatherholt and Joe Mazzulla. All that and more right in your pocket right now. Download the new WV Sports Nation app from the Apple Store or Google Play. Download the app right now.
Wagering at its finest, playing at the highest levels, under the highest stakes, for more than a decade. This is the world past the wire has conquered, bringing you uncompromised thoroughbred authority and elite track data that anchors the game. But the modern wagering landscape is expanding. Every sport, every line, every prop, and every high leverage future, we decode the metrics across the entire board. From game day spreads to the explosive new frontier of prediction markets and event contracts, we give you intelligence to dominate the modern financial exchanges. Because in the end, it's a battle. You versus the house. You versus the other players. In this arena, we fight with you. We are your ultimate edge. Welcome to the Ultimate Wagering Network. Subscribe to Past the Wire TV and turn on notifications because when the dust settles,
nobody does it better.
Live from the studios of the John Fredericks Media Network, it's The John Fredericks Show.
Grab yourself a cup of 1775 coffee, sit back, and get ready for the best 4 hours of talk in the universe. To be part of the show, just call our toll-free number, 888-480-5646. And now, here's the Godzilla of Truth, the Oracle of the Deplorables, the man who never has a failure to communicate, John Fredericks.
The first one is Exxon and Chevron Integrated Oil U.S. just announced record profits second quarter. Unbelievable. For Exxon, for instance, $14 billion, highest they've had in over a decade. For Chevron for the quarter, highest in history. On the
By 12 times.
On the backs.
You saw that?
Yes. I mean, it's unbelievable. On the backs.
I don't like it.
Workers paying higher gas. Is our...
They're making too much money. Okay. Based on a shortage, they're making too much money. I don't like it. And I should be the last one to say, because I'm a big free enterprise guy. Nobody bigger. And, you know, you're going to see oil, when we're finished with Iran, you're going to see the prices drop through the floor. But they made too much money. Too much money. Chevron, too much money. ExxonMobil, too much money. When you look at one company where they made 12 times what they made the year before, they're going to give some of that back to the public. And they better cut the retail price, the consumer price. Too much money. You're surprised I'm saying it? I'll say it loud and clear. I'm not happy about it. Go ahead.
Well, I was in the White House yesterday. I got a plethora of questions in. Actually had a conversation with the president while the press was there, just basically engaging me in a lot of things. So it was a pretty good day for us and a pretty good day to get the information out. But let's go to these cuts one by one, Dan, because the first one, I asked the president, basically a follow-up on price gouging. I mean, we've got ExxonMobil making 12x what they ever made, the largest profit in a quarter they've made in 12 years. Then you've got Chevron. It's the highest quarter profit they've ever had in the history of the company. And this is on the backs of us paying these gouged gas prices, which I've been yelling about for months because, you know, when somebody throws a slingshot or a rock at a tanker in the Red Sea from the Houthis and the price of gas goes up like 30 cents the next day, none of that has anything to do with economics. It's price gouging. And Trump is right. These oil companies should give us a rebate because we got ripped off and we're continuing to get ripped off as their margins go through the roof. Every time there's a crisis, they jack your prices up when they've already paid for this. So, you know, it's one thing to say, well, my prices went up now, and so 6 months later, your gas goes up. No, they do it the next hour, right? And then the retailers are gouging you as well. So it's a total gouge job. And we ought to be campaigning on this. And I was proud of the president for calling them out. They're making way too much money. You only made this money because of a crisis. If you made it because you've got new oil, or you found new oil, or you hit the jackpot, or you basically streamline the company, or you have new technology, or you're refining, things are better and your margins went up, you know, all of that is fine, right? All of that is fine. But what we've got is price gouging, we've got monopolization, and we got collusion because they all charge the same price. And then all the gas retailers, right in their same neighborhood, they all jack the prices up. So you're screwed three ways to Wednesday. There's laws against this in this country. There's the Taft-Hartley Act. There are laws against this. And we have allowed this to go on. And it seems like I'm the only one in media that brings it up. I mean, I don't really give a rat's tail about, you know, some of the other nonsense these libtards bring up constantly in there. I mean, you go in there, all they want to do is basically do a gotcha question. And I'm glad he shut down the guy from MS Now. Totally shut him down. I said, you know what? No more questions from you. You're fake news. Absolutely right. Okay, here's another question I got in at the White House yesterday in the Oval Office. Roll it.
Go ahead.
Well, just one. For those of us here that live in Washington, D.C. with our families like I do, the renaissance of the city that you've been able to do in 18 months is incredible.
I hope you heard the. Did you
couldn't
hear that,
my-
everybody?
I
The
couldn't hear my
renaissance
buddy.
of Washington, D.C. in 15, 16 months is incredible, and it is. It's clean, it's safe, and you haven't seen anything yet. We're replacing all of the grass that hasn't been replaced in the fields, all the beautiful fields where the grass is. You know, grass is like humans. It has a life. This grass hasn't been changed in 100 years. We're doing all the fields. We're doing all of the most of the graffiti is moved. But the most important thing is it's been beautified. We did 78 monuments and fountains and waterfalls, and they went from being horrible, mostly graffitis, and most of them for 25 years never worked. They haven't worked. And it's a renaissance, like you use the word renaissance, but it's a renaissance. But the biggest thing is we have very little crime now. This was the crime capital, frankly, of the world. It was the most unsafe capital of any country in the world. Now it's one of the safest, and it's one of the safest places in the United States. And people are coming down. You see it, the tourism in Washington, everyone's safe now. Nobody's getting mugged, shot. We used to lose 3 people a week, death. That's the least, I mean, it's 3 people in terms of death. 150 people a year were killed. They come down from Iowa, they come from Indiana. Mom, I'm looking at the Washington Monument. I'm looking at, and they end up getting killed. We call their parents, I'm sorry. Doesn't happen anymore. We don't have that anymore. We're rough, but we don't have that anymore. Our military has been unbelievable, and they work very well with the DC police, but our military came in, the general, people that we know so well, General, right? They don't play games, and we got the gangs out. We removed almost 5,000 people who were career criminals who came in with Biden with the open borders, a lot of them, and they're no longer here. We sent them back to their countries. You've got to say, have you ever seen such a transformation?
It's unbelievable if you live here. It's just, you don't want to go back.
And now you can walk to work, you can walk to the White House. The people in the White House, they work in the, they tell me, sir, thank you. Or they're thanking me all the time. They used to have to take Uber, and the Uber would be robbed, okay? You weren't even saying. They'd go to a restaurant, and they'd feel safe at a restaurant, and then the restaurant would be robbed. Do you know the restaurants were all closing? And now you can't, if you're a restaurateur, you can't get a restaurant. You literally can't. The restaurants are booming. Crime is down 92%, maybe more. I want to get it down 100%. You know, the greatest statistic, though, that you have is that 2% of the people create 91% of the crime. You can really handle that. And we moved almost 5,000 people out. They're criminals, career criminals. We moved that, or in some cases, they're in jail. In some cases, they were so bad, they came in through Biden. They're so bad, we don't want to move them out. We want to put them in jails because we're afraid they're going to come back in somehow. So I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah, then I asked them, I don't know if this one's up, but I asked them about home rule. Is that one up, Dan? See if you can get to that. That might be the next one. Would you consider going to Congress if they come in and try to roll it back, the new Democratic mayor?
And you had a mayor who's, I guess she's a communist. I mean, she says she's a socialist, but I guess she's a communist based on what she says. But I have not met her yet. I look forward to meeting her. Would I federalize? Basically, you're saying federalize DC. Yeah, well, I'm allowed to do that. Would I do it? If they want to, we took something that was in deep trouble. It was a graffiti-filled, crime-filled mess. We turned it into Shangri-La. We turned it into a great place. Look outside. Look what's happening. Look at the beautiful ballroom and military center. It's a military center, much more than, we have a drone port on top. Look at the grass in front of the White House being all replaced with the top stuff. The parks are all being replaced. It starts very soon, actually. We'll do one at a time. It's about 700 acres of parks. They're all going to have brand new, the best grass you can get. Scott's. You know Scott's? Scott's Miracle Grow. They're doing it. They do great grass. What can I tell you? I got to give them a plug because they did the White House for free. Sir, a friend of mine, a guy that, he's terrific. We'd like to give you new grass at the White House. I said, I'll take it. How much? He said, free. I'll take it.
I mean, I got another question in or comment at the end. I've got to get this clip. In fact, Dan text Papish and tell him to get the cut at the end where he asks my opinion on what we should do at Lafayette Park. He said, "You obviously live here. You're dialed in, John. What should we do at Lafayette Park? Keep the red sidewalks or put in granite." So he asked my opinion on that. So. Look, Dan, I mean, it's a good day when you go to the White House and you go in the Oval Office and you get to basically ask three questions and then get called on to make a comment.
Not too shabby. Not too shabby.
That's not too shabby.
Good job, sir. Good job.
A lot of people, I mean, if the knives were out, though, yesterday, because it's obviously that, I ask good questions. We have a relationship. He always calls on me. And some people are struggling to get a question. I've been there where I didn't get one. I mean, it's frustrating. So I get it. But, I got a couple of people didn't get any. One guy got shut down and I got 4. So, but, you have to understand, I've said this over and over. This is why I ran for Ward 2 chairman. This is why I almost ran for mayor. This is why I'm running now for advisory neighborhood council in my ward. And I'll be on the November ballot. I think we've got enough signatures now, but, to basically bring attention to what the president has done here in D.C. that just goes unnoticed. And because most of the people that are in there don't live here. Yeah, I don't understand that. I'm one of the few that actually live here, and I live 2 blocks away. So it's like, I not only cover you, you're my constituent, basically, as Ward 2 chairman. And if I win this race for commissioner, he's my constituent. The White House is in my constituency. I mean, it's going to be a tough race because TDS, libtards, everything else hates me. But we're gonna run this race hard. We're gonna raise enough money to compete, and we'll see what happens. Maximum donation $25. Can you believe that? It's called the Washington D.C. Incumbent Protection Act. Like you can't raise any money. $25 is your max for commissioner. It's kind of funny. Anyway, it's a great day. We'll be right back.
Make calls from your sat phone to any regular cell phone in the United States. The phones are $1,500 value, but you can get yours free. Just sign up for a 15-month plan, $94.95 a month. Get 150 minutes monthly that roll to the next month. Go 3 months without using them, that's fine. Yes, 3 months, 450 minutes, all yours. Visit SAT123.com or call 855-980-5830. SAT123.com, 855-980-5830. Get surety and security with your sat phone. Call now.
The Cats and Cosby Show.
It's the top news of the day.
People are out there saying, the Iranians are never going to live by it. But let me tell you something. President Trump is going to bomb them again if they screw around.
Hopefully they live up to it. And if not, the pounding's coming. We're going to do it again and again and again.
The Cats and Cosby Show, weekdays 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the stations of the John Fredericks Media Network.
Trump is the toughest president we ever had.
Well, he's definitely the best bomber.
The Trump administration has brought positive changes when it comes to fixing our broken healthcare system. If we really want to make America healthy again, well, that starts at home. And that's where the Wellness Company comes in. You see and hear from the Wellness Company doctors all the time, and you know their products are the gold standard for keeping you and your family safe and healthy, giving you the opportunity to make sure you're prepared for whatever happens with their prescription medical kits. Additionally, the Wellness Company offers a variety of products, from parasite cleanses to methylene blue to weight loss and so much more. Make America healthy again starts at home. Do your part and protect the health of you and your family. Live a healthier, longer, and more satisfying life. Go to twc.health/Godzilla and order. That's twc.health/Godzilla. Use promo code Godzilla to save 10% today.
Trump 2.0 is in full effect. How do you keep up with all the action? I'll tell you. TrumpNationNews.com is your inside source for the inside scoop. Manufacturing, jobs, deportations, and the nation's rejuvenation. The first 100 days and beyond. All the news you need and no liberal gibberish. It's the perfect way to start your day. Sign up for the TNN newsletter. Do it today. TrumpNationNews.com. TrumpNationNews.com. Part of the John Fredericks Media Network.
Everybody's talking about weight loss injections because the results are so dramatic. They work by lowering blood sugar and reducing appetite. So, what if you're looking to lose weight but not interested in painful weekly injections, especially when you hear about some of those intense side effects? That's why doctors created a weight loss supplement called Lean, and the results are remarkable. The ingredients studied in Lean have been shown to lower your blood sugar, burn fat by converting it into energy, and curb your appetite and cravings, so you're not as hungry. But listen, Lean is not for the casual dieter with only a few pounds to lose. The doctors at Brickhouse Nutrition created Lean for frustrated dieters with 10 or more pounds to lose. Get started with 20% off and free rush shipping so you can add Lean to your healthy diet and exercise plan. Go to takelean.com and enter the code Godzilla for your discount. That's discount code Godzilla at takelean.com.
Meta-analysis studies show that, contrary to what we thought, masks really do work in preventing infection.
No doubt.
So no doubt.
So when you find out you were wrong, you don't double down.
People should not be walking around with masks.
You're sure of it, because people are listening really closely to this.
Right now, people should not be walking. There's no reason to be walking around with a mask. Right now, the message is the vaccines are very effective in preventing serious disease. So the data are very, very clear that A, you need a booster. The nature of those viruses that were studied were evolutionarily so far distant from what turned out to be SARS-CoV-2 that no matter what you did with those viruses, you would not be able to do that. Obviously, there are two possibilities that are being entertained, and I think we need to keep a completely open mind until we have definitive proof.
Dr. Fauci, did you delete any emails or records related to the Wuhan lab or the origins of the virus?
No, I did not. I am very happy to testify before any congressional oversight committee. I have nothing to hide. On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution. I have not been misleading the American public under any circumstance.
Don't touch that dial. You've found your home of the truth.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
With the best analysis in America.
You can't handle the truth.
And now back to the John Fredericks Show.
A couple times today, because you've been very open about coming back for this year, last rodeo, and you talked about your wife saying, hey, have another year. Mike McCarthy being here, obviously a big deal. Can you tell us about the mindset of coming into your last season? Like, that's a real thing, it feels like, because is everything better? Is everything funner? Is everything more awesome? Like, how do you kind of view this year versus maybe the years of the past?
I'm going to plead the fifth.
Okay. Okay.
Like
Gotta love that guy.
Okay.
Like that absolute coward, Tony Fauci. Absolute coward.
Yeah.
Hey, it's back, baby. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, 111
You
times.
got a pardon and you're in front and you pleaded over 100 times at the White House? What are you scared of, Tony?
Yeah.
I thought you were the science.
Yeah.
I thought you were I am science, and you get up there and you can't answer a question?
Yeah.
What are we doing? And how much time did the network spend at that? How much time did they spend on my responses every week, on my vaccination status, on Taylor and Travis's wedding?
Yeah!
Did they do even a minute? Did they do even a minute on Tony Fauci?
No, I don't think I've heard
Nah,
anything.
I bet they didn't.
But on that note.
And there was another scandal this offseason, too, involving a voter for MVP, for Coach of the Year. How much time did your network spend? Where's your Kim? Did your network spend on
Our
that?
network?
I wish how much time did you
Go back
spend?
to Fauci. How much time? This is awesome.
Go back to Fauci? Yeah. Go back to the coward Tony Fauci and science?
Hold on now.
Who's spending the entire time writing in his diary about how fun it is to be famous? You got to be kidding me.
Okay, so on that note.
What are you going to say about me now?
Debate him,
What are you going to say about me
No,
now?
I got no debate here. You had a 500.
No, seriously, what are they going to say about me now? Now you can't talk about the COVID stuff because obviously it was made, in a lab in China. That's like not even questionable anymore. Tony Fauci is an absolute criminal. I'm on good terms with my family. I'm on good terms with my family. What are you going to say now? What are you going to say now?
I want to let you know. It's been a fun ride for you, I would assume, over the last couple.
It's been a great life and a great career. And it's nice to be sitting on this side now, especially after that coward played the fifth over 100 times.
Okay.
I thought you had a pardon there, Tony. Why couldn't you answer one question the entire time?
All right, Dan, you got to open up the mic. That was classic Rogers, and McAfee tried to change the subject at least 5 or 6 times, and he wouldn't do it. See, that is a courageous interview, and he called out the lying piece of crap for the horrible person he is. He called out the lies. He called out the duplicity, and he called out what they did to him. People, people forget. When football was playing and there were no fans there, whatever the hell they were doing, and it was all COVID, this and vaccines, that, and a guy wouldn't take it. And so he couldn't practice with his team. And, his family wouldn't dissociate with him because he wouldn't take the vax, and, his teammates and the whole thing. Okay. He knew it was poison. He wouldn't take it. He wouldn't get intimidated. He's Aaron Rodgers. And basically all that press they spent on this guy. And now he's like, he wants vindication, and I don't blame him. And he was 100% correct. Shoved it up his ass.
Yep, Aaron Rodgers and Novak Djokovic. I think they're coming up smelling like roses right about now.
Exactly. I mean, I remember as a Titans fan, our quarterback, Ryan Tannehill, was anti-vax. He didn't want to take it. And so they were doing the same thing with him, right? I mean, the ESPN was all over him, and how can you lead a team as a quarterback? You're not taking the vaccine. And finally he took it, and he said, I'm just going to take it so that I can go in the locker room with my team because I have no choice. Rodgers said no. Yeah. And but Tannehill was under the same pressure. I'm going to say he caved because he held out for a long time. But it was like, I can't go in the film room. Like, they won't let me in because of the rules in Nashville. And it had nothing to do with the Titans or Amy.
The NFL, it was Tennessee.
Their training camp was in Nashville, and this was the mayor of Nashville, and they wouldn't let anybody in without a mask, no matter where you were, hotel, etc. So, he said, if I go in there, I'm violating the law, I'm going to get arrested. I mean, the whole thing was asinine of what we put up with. And my whole thing is, I just wonder if we do this again, Dan. That's my biggest fear. Another one of these fake viruses come out, they fear monger, and we cave again like sheep, like the sheep we prove to be.
My prediction is, and I guess I'm saying this because I know what I will do. I will tell them to go to hell. But I think that people like I am, like you are, will not put up with it the next time. Of course, the leftist snowflakes, the pajama boys, they'll put the masks on and triple vax and double boost or whatever else. But I don't think that the right leaning folks are going along with another fraud. So yeah, it's and clearly, just like with whether we're talking about quote unquote climate change or anything else like that, the whole goal is for the totalitarians to gain power. That's all they actually really care about. It's all just a means to an end of gaining more power for themselves at the expense of our own self-determination.
I mean, there's no question, Dan. There is no question about it. It's the whole thing was basically a test to basically see how far Americans would comply for the next time. And the next time's the big one, when they basically they have totalitarian rule. How far would we go? How far could the fear go? And how much could they steal an election? That's basically what happened. Stole an election. And this whole thing was concocted. And like he said, it came out of a lab. Nobody even doubts. Remember that debate about it was a bat soup or,
oh, sure.
Snake oatmeal or some nonsense.
And the best clip regarding that is when Jon Stewart went on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, and joked about that and just said, come on, who believes this crap? It's like somebody saying there was some sort of like a chocolate virus that broke out in Hershey, Pennsylvania, and it had nothing to do with the Hershey chocolate factory. Come on. It's just, maybe it came from the Wuhan coronavirus lab right down the street.
The whole thing was a scam. The whole thing was a scam from day one.
Yep. All designed to get Trump out of office.
All designed to get Trump out of office. That was the
goal.
Yeah,
that was the goal.
That was the whole.
And it worked. It worked. Mission accomplished for them, at least for 4 years. And luckily for us, he got back in. It's funny to think about this, Jeff. We haven't talked about this so much on Godzilla Wins, but the fact that the Olympics are coming back to the United States, we just had the World Cup. All of these things were supposed to happen after Trump was gone, the insurance. We'll schedule it 12 years out from 2016. We'll schedule it 10 years out. He couldn't possibly be in office still at that point. They weren't counting on a term off, and then he gets reelected. And so now President Trump is the president for the World Cup. He'll be the president for the Olympics in Los Angeles. I mean, what absolute karma for these folks that he'll be the one presiding over all of it.
It's just crazy. The whole thing, to look back on it now, and people say, why you keep bringing it up? So we don't fall into this trap again. That's why
Absolutely.
we keep bringing it up.
Amen.
That's why we have to keep bringing it up. You have to keep bringing this up. You have to, because
because there's no justice coming in the courts of law. So the only justice coming is in the courts of public opinion.
No, they want to just under the rug.
Yep.
So they can do it again.
Yep.
And I'm telling you, when first of all, let me make a couple comments on yesterday. Trump looked great. Tremendous energy. I mean, I was 7 feet from him, under 12 feet, 10 feet. And so, and he looked at me directly and we engaged in a conversation. So it was a direct conversation for a number of minutes. And, his eyes sparkled. And he really loves what he's done in DC. I was sitting there, was coming out of that thing, and, we had really contemplated a run for mayor for this reason. I got to say, Dan, I do have vision. I'm a visionary. I'm going to just say that. It's not patting myself on the back, but I have vision. And I knew this day was going to come. I knew there was going to be a communist running for mayor, and there'd be nobody on the ballot and nobody to defend what he's done. And that's exactly what's happened. So it's up to me as Ward 2 chairman. But that was the reason Ann and I really contemplated this and spent a lot of time on it. We just didn't at the end think we were here long enough, and I didn't want it to turn into a vanity play, and that's why we didn't do it, to be honest. And that's why I'm running for Ward 2 chairman. I won that. Now I'm running for commissioner. These are positions where it makes sense for somebody that's been here 18 months or 2 years or whatever.
As opposed to running for mayor. Yeah.
It just didn't fit. At the end, it didn't feel. It didn't. Whatever you do, it's got to feel good. And it looked like a vanity play. And as soon as that became what we thought it might look like, we were out, because that's not what I do.
Well, right? John, if anybody doubts that you are a visionary, just look at what you've done with this network. We've talked about the humble origins and where we are now, where you're on the list of the top talkers in the country. We have radio stations, 25-ish at this point. You're on television essentially over the internet. It's a real success story. It's an American success story, and I congratulate you, because this is quite the accomplishment for you.
Couldn't have done it without our team, and you're a big part of it. But we've assembled an awesome team, people that have been with me for 15 years since I started, that believed in the vision. And early on, people didn't get paid on time. It's just. We'd have to ask people, hey, I know it's Wednesday. Give me another day. I got to go collect money. We went through a lot of that. A lot of people stayed with us through that when we had nothing, and they didn't know if they were going to get paid at the end of the week, and things of that nature. So it was a tough beginning, but here we are. And I got get in the Oval Office. You get 3 questions and a comment, and he asked me to make a comment, which we'll get Mike to send in a minute. On Lafayette Park, when I asked him about that, which was the final question of the day. So it was a good day, and but he really cares about DC. And when I got in the end, because the point of my question on DC when he went off was, if she comes in and tries to change it, which is what they're running on, are you going to get rid of home rule? And he said, you mean federalize it? Yes. That was his answer. Yes, I'm gonna meet her. I'll give her a shot. That's the way Trump is. And if it doesn't work out, I can federalize it tomorrow. He doesn't even think he has to go to Congress. There'll be legal challenges to that, because if you look at the ruling, it's supposed to go to Congress. But he's convinced that he can federalize it under executive order. And I don't doubt that. No more than I doubt that he can run for a 3rd term. I don't doubt it. But he was great yesterday. It was super to be there. So, But there's these communists that are running around are crazy. 888-480-JOHN. Let me before we get started, I want to take a sip of my 1775 coffee, Danny. It is so good. You know, I got up today at 3:45. Sometimes I hit the snooze button, so it's like more like 3:55 to be candid. So it's like that extra 10 minutes is golden. I got the snooze button set at 10. So that and I fall right back to sleep. So I get an extra 10 but I got to get up at 3:55 and I get my first cup of coffee. I reward myself when I come in the office. So I don't do it when I get up. I do my push-ups. I got to get all this work done that Dan gets at 5 a.m, all the prep work. And then I come in and I reward myself with my first cup of 1775 coffee. And why is it so good? Dan, because it's fresh brewed daily. And it comes from Bolivia, highest mountains. So you got the best beans, and you can get the grounds, you can get the beans, or you get the K-cups. Me, I prefer the dark roast. They've also have premium, which is outstanding. I do that on the weekends when I can brew a pot. On Thursday, when the ladies come in for the dispatch, I got a pot going. They can smell it outside. Everybody's excited. It's the greatest coffee ever, and you can get it too. And this is the working man's coffee. This is not like, there's Bannon's got one that it's like $5 a pot or something. It's just like ridiculous. Nobody can afford that. This is affordable, and it's the best. It's better than that. It's not even close. Not even close. Here's what you need to do. Go to 1775coffee.com. Give it a shot, right? Give it a shot. Plus, they've been bitching to me, and they say nobody's ordering our coffee. I'm like, what do you mean nobody's ordering? It's the best coffee ever. Go to 1775coffee.com, promo code Godzilla. You're going to get yourself 10% off. Get yourself a bag. Get yourself a couple K-cups. We got you. We got you. One time, you're done. You'll never go back. It's that good. It's that smooth. I'm going to have a sip now, Dan. There's nothing better than my 1775 coffee, Dan, in my Maryland baseball cup. Fear the turtle. I like turtles. Fear the turtle. We're going to have a great season. I'm fired up about our season. I'm pumped. Fired up. Let's go. Okay. Let's get to...
I like turtles.
Let's get to the commies. So here's this chick running... get this, Dan. She's running for governor of Wisconsin. Okay, she's bat crap crazy. Tom Tiffany's going to win this race. The Republicans can't believe. Her name is Francisca Hong, and she's now running for, she's going to be the Democrat nominee for governor because everybody dropped out of the race. And she's running against Tiffany. Tiffany's going to win this. And she says that the history of tipping is racist. The history of tipping. You go to a restaurant and you tip the waiter or the waitress. You go to a diner. You go to a car wash. I tip the guy at the car wash. Doesn't matter where I go, I tip. She's saying tipping is racist. These are the nutballs that have taken over the Democratic Party. This is why we're gonna win. Cut one. Take a look.
That is in the service industry. We are finally having this conversation about, how our industry really did come from it and kind of is rooted in white supremacy, that tipping in itself. If we look at the history of tipping and how racist it is and how it has kept wages low for Black people for a very long time. And if you look at tipping now, how different the scales are in terms of who receives higher percentages of tips over other folks.
You heard that? You got a Democrat candidate for governor in a competitive race saying that tipping is racist and it's rooted in white supremacy. You work for tips. It's the capitalistic way. The better you do, the bigger tip you get. Okay, let's see. I just got another tattoo on my chest a week ago Monday, 8 days ago. So I'm still treating it as you do with pretty large tattoos. And it was pretty expensive because mine are very detailed and they have a theme. And so at the end of it, my my tattoo artist here in DC, great guy, does a super job, Hispanic. I tipped him $200 cash. Now, is that racist? I mean, the guy did a great job. I was in the chair 7 hours. I mean, the guy did a super job. I'm not going to tell you what he charged, but I tipped him $200 cash. Is that racist? I mean, folks, they're nuts. Okay, they're absolutely nuts. Here's Hong again. I want this to sink in. This is the Democratic Party now. This is the soon-to-be nominee for governor of Wisconsin, a so-called swing state. This is no joke. Here she is again. This isn't like running for mayor of Boston, like that whack job. This is the governor of Wisconsin trying to make this case. Here's Hong again saying that having a half-white son is a proximity to whiteness. This is unbelievable. 3, you gotta listen to this.
I wasn't always aware of the struggles of other communities of color because for me, assimilation always kind of took over. And so I did marry. My proximity to whiteness continues, right? My son is biracial. He's half white and half Korean. And I think navigating, what his identity is and how people perceive him is always at the back of my mind as well.
Okay, so you married a white guy, and now you're ashamed that your son has whiteness. Did you hear what she said? She married a white guy. I mean, you're supposed to marry for love, right? Regardless of ethnicity or race or religion. That's kind of the deal. Should be. So you marry, you have a boy, and you're ashamed that your boy is half white and so has to deal with whiteness. And it gives her proximity to whiteness, which she doesn't like. She's ashamed of it. This person do you understand she's running for governor of Wisconsin? She's the Democratic nominee for governor. Are you guys getting this? This is not mayor of Boston or Philadelphia. Okay, they're all nuts. This is governor of Wisconsin candidate Democrat. It goes on. It goes on. Let's get, that probably is all I got. Let's get this whole thing. Let's get the 5. Here's the DSEA co-chair, which is the Communist Party USA. I don't care what they call themselves. It's Communist Party USA, right? CPU. Communist Party USA co-chair says that the DSA is the Democrat base. And that's the gubernatorial candidate. And if you don't believe this, you're living under a rock, folks. 5, roll it.
Megan, you know what's also interesting? And I know you take everything I'm saying at face value. I don't mean it as an insult. The energy is all the party's about. All a party is about. The only reason we tolerate their existence is because they organize and they win elections. That's what you're doing. So,
yeah, a party is its base. It's the voters. That's right. Who the party is. And that's where we are.
And you have 2 or 3 self-identified Democrats are not afraid of the word socialist. What do you think that means?
I think people are seeing that capitalism is not working for them.
I mean, wake up, folks, and smell the coffee. This is incredible. It is just bizarro land. The candidates these people are putting up, Communist Party USA, baby, taking over the Democratic Party. And it was interesting what Cuomo said. And he's right. He said, we tolerated the Democratic Party because they organized and won elections. Now you guys are doing that. So what's their point of existence? He said what everybody is thinking. This is Ken Martin's problem. What is their point of existence? Save that clip. Save that. Dan, save that clip. We're going to call it the Cuomo clip. Just save that because I'm going to play it back again so we can understand it. The purpose of the Democratic Party he said we tolerate them. to organize and win elections, and now they don't even do that. Nailed it. All right, coming up, a couple minutes, we're going to go to my good friend that had a kidney transplant, see what's going on there. Keep it right here.
So says President Trump, who says the talks are underway again with Iran, although Iran denies that. The president says that Gulf allies pleaded with him to give diplomacy yet another chance.
It was going to be a massive attack. It was going to be an attack that would have been by far the biggest attack since World War II, but they've asked us not to do it. They said, please don't do it. And their neighbors said that too. And so we're just going to see whether or not we can make a deal.
Meanwhile, a cargo ship reports being hit by some sort of projectile overnight in the Strait of Hormuz. A 37-year-old man stands accused of intentionally starting one of 3 destructive wildfires in Spokane, Washington, the suspect being held on $1 million bond. President Trump is not pleased with the U.S. Attorney for Washington, D.C.
I was disappointed with Jeanine Pirro, really disappointed with Jeanine Pirro. She folded like an umbrella, and people get away with things. It's a disgrace.
The president says Pirro choked in moving to drop charges against a man who had been accused of vandalizing the reflecting pool. Michigan has joined Minnesota reporting cyber attacks on water plants. Speculation that Iranian interests may be involved. Authorities insist, though, that all the targeted facilities are operating safely. It's a big day for primary voting. Contests in a number of states, including a closely watched Democratic U.S. Senate contest in Michigan. Congresswoman Haley Stevens, backed by the party's establishment wing, facing leftist progressive Abdul El-Sayed, the latter leading in the polls. Later this morning, the Senate Judiciary Committee expected to approve the Attorney General nomination of acting AG Todd Blanche. On Wall Street, the Dow futures up 279 points. NASDAQ futures ahead 223. More on these stories at townhall.com.
The following is a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
When I was feeling the stress of too much credit card debt, I looked at 2 different options, debt settlement and debt management. They may sound the same, but guess what? They're not. Debt settlement seemed like a quick fix, but I found out it would destroy my credit, create tax headaches, and hit me with huge fees. They actually told me to stop paying my bills. No way, not me. Then I turned to a debt management plan developed by the team at Trinity. They worked with my creditors, lowered my payments, reduced my interest, saved me thousands, and paid off my debt. And Trinity is a Christian company, which is important to me.
If credit card debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
My name is Heather. Please forget debt settlement and remember Trinity Debt Management.
1-800-990-6976.
An unrelenting heat wave is blamed for the deaths of several female lions at a Tokyo zoo. Autopsies pointing to dehydration and multiple organ failure.
Zookeepers say 3 more lions are unwell, although some are beginning to recover. The staff have installed air conditioners and industrial fans to help keep the animals cool. Experts say the combination of Japan's intense heat and high humidity make it difficult for the lions to regulate their body temperature. The sudden heat wave may have left them little time to adapt after the rainy season this year. So far, more than 43,000 people in Japan have been hospitalized due to heat stroke this summer.
The BBC's Haruni Mori. Authorities in Guatemala ordering evacuations around the Fuego volcano, which is erupting. The Guatemalan Disaster Agency confirming the eruption. It started yesterday morning, intensified throughout the day, led to evacuation orders for 2 villages. News and analysis at townhall.com. Several states upset over revamped tariffs, taking the Trump administration to court.
25 states are joining a lawsuit suing the Trump administration over the latest round of double-digit tariffs. They say the basis, that countries had not done enough to crack down on imports produced by illegal forced labor, is a pretext. New York Attorney General Letitia James says after losing at the Supreme Court, the administration is once again trying to illegally raise taxes on families and businesses with a new round of tariffs. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro says the president's tariffs have injected unnecessary chaos and confusion into residents' lives and raised prices across the board. I'm Jennifer King.
Customs and Border Protection has ordered construction crews working on the border wall to stop drilling wells in drought-stricken New Mexico, ordering a halt after ranchers said that pumping the groundwater needed to mix cement could deprive their livestock of life-sustaining water. More on these stories, townhall.com.
MyPillow's second annual mega sale is finally here. Get our patented premium MyPillows that adjust your exact individual needs to give you the best sleep of your life.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
I guarantee they're going to be the most comfortable pillows you'll ever own. King size only $24.98, queen size only $19.98. Giza Dream bed sheets, the best sheets in history, as low as $29.98. Lux Piers 6-piece towel sets, towels that actually dry you. What a concept. Now only $39.98. And our made in the USA mattresses and mattress toppers as low as $99.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. Plus, free shipping options available when you order today. So don't delay, order now.
Van Hill sold it, and he never will. Paid for by Van for Tennessee.
Washington is wasting $500 million every year on a federal supervision system that doesn't work. Probation officers are overwhelmed. Resources are going to people who pose zero threat, while actual dangerous individuals slip through the cracks. The Safer Supervision Act stops the waste and refocuses every dollar on protecting families from harm. President Trump's own pollster found about 80% of Trump voters want this fixed. It's time for Congress to get this done. Stop the waste. Protect our communities. Visit safersupervision.com. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
At the end of the day, I don't care.
That's Andy Ogles.
I'm an economist, former member of law enforcement. I work for you traffic.
After lying about his resume.
I don't recall ever saying I had an economic degree.
The local sheriff said Ogles lied about his work in child sex trafficking, and his phone was even seized by the FBI, and he's still under investigation. After all the lying, what's Andy's message to Tennessee families?
Hey, I don't care.
Paid for by Invest in Tomorrow Coalition PAC. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
Ponder this. Most people want to have a good day every day. In order to do this, we must start our day with gratitude and keep an attitude of gratitude throughout the day. I offer you my recipe for having a great day and a joyful life. First, start each day being grateful that the Lord has given you another day to serve Him. Roll yourself out of bed, get on your knees, and say a morning prayer of thanksgiving. Ask the Lord to help you throughout the day to do whatever His will is for you. Next, thank God for the little things that make your day better. I thank Him immensely for my morning coffee and for my legs that allow me to take a morning walk. I pray for those who cannot walk because of age, injury, or disability. Throughout the rest of the day, I am grateful for the people God has placed in my life. I thank Him for those who love me, and I pray especially for those who do not love me. Find ways in your day to thank God continually and offer prayers for all those the good Lord has placed in your daily path. I'm Susie Kelly, and I am passionately Catholic.
Live from the studios of the John Fredericks Media Network, it's The John Fredericks Show. Grab yourself a cup of 1775 coffee, sit back, and get ready for the best 4 hours of talk in the universe. To be part of the show, just call our toll-free number, 888-480-5646. And now, here's the Godzilla of Truth, the Oracle of the Deplorables, the man who plays to win the game, John Fredericks.
Hey, it's great to have you with us. I'm John Fredericks, your Godzilla of the Truth in America, your Oracle of the Deplorables, rocking and rolling. Coming alive in Washington, D.C. Thanks for joining us. I think I'll put this mic on. That might be a little helpful. Dan, as the saying goes, great to have you with us, as always. Your Oracle of the Deplorables at your service, live in the nation's capital, the cleanest, safest, most beautiful city in America, now the Disneyland of the North. It was filth and squalor, and now it's, well, absolutely gorgeous. Thanks to President Trump. You saw our dialogue at the Oval Office yesterday. Very good. And got 4 questions in. So, yeah, it's good. Anyway, it's good to have you. Paul Conway coming up here in a minute. Got announcements, though, Danny boy, to make. Number one, August 17th. We got changes coming to the network. August 17th, Wendy Bell Live, baby. Let's go. Wendy Bell Live is going to be on the John Fredericks Media Network, 10 a.m. to noon, Monday to Friday. Wendy Bell Live right here. Boy, you got to get your Wendy Bell. You got to get her live, and you got to lace them up and lace them tight. No more podcasts, no more tapes. Wendy Bell live, as only Wendy Bell can do it. Noon, 10 a.m. to noon Eastern time, Monday to Friday. That starts on August 17th. Only a mere 2 weeks away. And then Michael Patrick Leahy, I know you love him. He's moving to 3 to 5 p.m. in Nash Vegas. Mike will be there. We'll have in a couple weeks after that our new station in Nashville and Franklin, Tennessee, WAKM AM 950, which is making its way now through the FCC approval process. So we're looking forward to that. That should come probably the first week in September. So based on their timeline. So looking forward to that. Michael Patrick Leahy moving 3 to 5 Eastern, 2 to 4 Central. If you're in Nash Vegas listening to us right now, great to have you with us. And a couple of other changes. Starting yesterday, the first show that we launched, Past the Wire Sports with Frank Zaccanelli, debuted yesterday, 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern across our network, 5 to 6 Central. I got home just in time. They called the lid about 6, and so I caught it a little bit on my phone and then got it when I got home on the big screen on Roku. And Past the Wire Sports with Frank Zaccanelli was a great show yesterday. It is one of the best things we've done. Their launch yesterday was fantastic. Everything was perfect. Mike Coleman did a super job. Everything was great. We loved it. And we look forward to that. And that is Monday to Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. Past the Wire Sports right here, the John Fredericks Media Network, the largest independently owned and operated news talk, conservative news talk sports network in America, right here. You got them. Good to have you with us today, as always. So that's some of our changes coming up. Also, if you're you like watching us on TV, and I know you get the video on, well, what is it, Dan? YouTube, Rumble, Instagram, Facebook, X, all that, right? You get all that. But coming in about 2 weeks, hopefully with the launch of the Wendy Bell Show Live, is going to be our new app, jfmn.tv, jfmn.tv. And we'll let you know when that comes out. And when that app comes out, you just go to Google Play or the App Store. You download that app, jfmn.tv. You put it on your phone. You put it on your computer. You put it on your tablet. You put it on your big screen. Doesn't matter what it is. Boom. You get jfmn.tv. So the whole TV network will be live from 6 a.m. until 7 p.m. So we'll have, how many hours is that? 13 hours a day, Monday to Friday of live programming. And then we'll go Saturday from, I think we get Dr. Roselle on, and what your Saturday show's on, isn't it? Live on.
Yes, yeah, 8 to 9, the Killer Carl Show, and I am guest hosting this Saturday.
So that's good. So you'll be basically 7 on Saturday. We'll be live 7 to whenever John Gordon's off. I mean, there's a lot of live TV. We actually have started our own TV network. It's taken a while. You know, I tell you one thing about Ann and I, we're very patient. We're visionary, but we're patient. And we understand that things have to be done in stages. When you're a small company and you don't have investors and you don't have venture capitalists and breathing down your neck and there's no, corporate hierarchy, you got to take things, as the money comes in, you need to invest it wisely back in the company. It's what we do. Sell ads and get sponsors. And our team has done a super job at that. And we've got sponsors for our TV network. So we're very excited about it. And it's going to be very cool. So that'll launch in a couple of weeks and you'll be able to get rocking and rolling with that. So let's get to my good friend here, Paul Conway. Paul, it's just been too long. Paul Conway here, and he's the chair of policy and global affairs and the immediate past president of the American Association of Kidney Patients. So we're excited about that, and thanks for being with us.
Of course, John.
Paul. And look, there was a story that you were quoted in Politico about a couple weeks back, or a week or so, which is why I got you on today, about Secretary Kennedy. You were quoted in it. Give us a little update on that.
Sure. So the president is very committed to making certain that Americans stay healthy and get healthier, and Secretary Kennedy's been on point for him about that through HHS. And there's a body in the federal government called the U.S. Preventive Services Task Force. And this is a group of experts, so-called and self-appointed in some ways, who are supposed to tell the medical establishment what are good practices for screening for disease. And In particular for kidney disease, they've kind of been asleep at the switch for the past 20 years. There's no recommendation for screening, even for people that may end up on dialysis or transplant. So Secretary Kennedy last year, with our strong public support, decided to shake this body up. It's the U.S. Preventative Services Task Force. And boy, did critics come out of the woodwork and out of the drywall and every other place to attack him for it. Even though people were saying, we need to do something about this for 20 years, he stands up and says, great, I'm going to hold the meetings. I'm going to appoint a new task force. And he called them lackadaisical and negligent. And the critics, I'm telling you, John, it was just unbelievable. We came out and said, hey, we completely agree. These folks have had evidence in front of them for 20 years about the need to stop kidney disease and test people for it. And they refused to look at the evidence. So we recommended Secretary Kennedy ought to fire all of them. And he's well on his way to doing that and reforming it, reconstituting it, and then getting some doctors involved that have a forward-looking view of reducing human suffering. So it's a fun story. But, when somebody beats up on a cabinet officer for trying to do the right thing, we think it's right to step up and say, hey, wait a minute. He's speaking for a lot of Americans that haven't been heard.
It sounds like that clip that you run, Dan, with the coach of what was it, Oklahoma State University back in the day. Was that OSU when he said, come after me? I'm an adult.
Yep, Mike Gundy. I'm a man. I'm 40.
That was Mike Gundy. Get that.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
Get that ready to roll, because you're right. I mean, you're right, Paul, 100%. And what did you think of Kennedy's interview on CNN where he eviscerated that little twit Dana Bash? Did you see that?
Oh, yeah. No, I watched that. It's interesting. I've had the opportunity, as you know, to serve a number of cabinet officers over the years. And it's fascinating when you watch in live time a TV host who thought they were better prepared than the person who showed up on the set. And Secretary Kennedy, I mean, not only did he have his facts, but he was also prepared to get attacked on live television. But I don't think what she counted on is that he actually had the excerpts of the diaries of the communications between Dana Bash and Dr. Fauci. And, that's unimpeachable evidence. And, the secretary is a lawyer. And I think it was an interesting and fascinating interview, and really a textbook case of don't be an elitist and don't presume that the person who's coming in from a conservative administration is going to sit at the table and not know something, and you can lecture them. And I think she really got her compass redirected.
That is a very polite way of putting it. I know, like me, you've been able to engage President Trump along these health lines. Tell me about his efforts to promote better health and to fight kidney disease, which has been the issue that you've been fighting for some time as a kidney transplant survivor yourself, Paul.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, John. So I've had a kidney transplant for 29 years, and I've taken over 180,000 pills to maintain my organ transplant and make certain it doesn't get rejected. With President Trump, the history of kidney disease in the United States is quite fascinating, because President Trump has basically carved out a legacy for himself. Richard Nixon started the programs that help people on dialysis and people to get a transplant. President Trump, kind of like the bookend to that story, did one of the most proactive and forward-looking pieces of policy in 2019. He did an executive order on advancing American kidney health, where he basically said to the country, he laid down a challenge. He said, hey, we can stop disease progression, we can come up with better innovations to keep people alive, and we can reduce costs to taxpayers. And what that vision of that executive order in 2019 has done is it has pushed HHS and other federal agencies to start thinking upstream, and it has signaled to industry, go ahead and bring capital into the markets of innovation and drug and device and diagnostic development for kidneys, and let's save more Americans. It's a real tribute to him, and it is a true legacy. It's 50 years of kidney disease policy, 50 years of saving lives, and President Trump planted a huge flag in 2019. And as a result of it, people are talking about common sense stuff. What do people eat? How do we avoid the need for dialysis or kidney failure? And then the other thing is you have a whole slew of new medications that are out there that reduce phosphorus intake. They help people stop the progression of disease so they don't need dialysis. It's a really optimistic time, and a huge amount of credit goes to the president working with bipartisan coalition. And most importantly, the president directed that patients be at the table to develop that policy. And we had the good fortune, American Association of Kidney Patients and other patients around the country, to sit at the table with Secretary Azar and with White House staff and develop that policy in 2019. It's just it's an optimistic time to be a patient.
You know, the biggest thing about what happened when you were head of the Kidney Foundation is the Biden administration, we've talked about this, spent all their energy on, kidney dialysis and no energy on really solving the problem of getting, kidney transplants. Has that changed under Kennedy? I mean, does he understand deeply what your position has been here? Paul?
He does. And I'll tell you why. This is at a real personal level. He gave a press conference in September last year with the CMS Commissioner Oz and Makari from FDA. But Secretary Kennedy came out to the HHS podium, and within 12 minutes, he laid out the fact that his family is an organ donor family through the unfortunate death of a young relative. He talked about how that young relative's 2 kidneys had saved 2 lives. And what he said is that we need to do more in America. We need to step up. We're the greatest nation on the planet. We're altruistic. People need to do more to donate organs. And he sent a real clear signal, John, that you could tell that from inside him, not a matter of philosophy, not a matter of ideology, as a human being, he understood what it meant to save another life, because he liked to think that and know that his young relative had saved 2 lives. You cannot write stuff like that for a cabinet officer. It comes from the heart. He gets these issues.
He's been a godsend to this nation, no question about it. And I just cannot get enough of how he just basically carved up that Dana Bash, and he called her a parrot. I mean, it was really one of the best interviews I've ever seen. You're on the John Fredericks Media Network. We're trucking the truth across America. We're with Paul Conway. He's a chair of policy and global affairs and immediate past president of the American Association of Kidney Patients. That's AAKP. Secretary Kennedy is forcing the medical establishment to think very differently about patients and taxpayers. And one of the things about it is he's trying to say, because before Kennedy, everything was about you got sick and then, healthcare, and what do we do? Kennedy is really focused on sick prevention, right? Yes. On the prevention, yep. Healthy eating, healthy this, healthy lifestyle, changing the food groups, understanding a lot of these processed foods are no good for us. So he's trying to get at the core of making America healthy, which is what MAHA is, and not at just treating the symptoms with free healthcare.
Yeah, he has. No, it's the whole idea of taking care upstream. One of our medical advisors for American Association of Kidney Patients, Dr. Barry Smith up in New York, went to Harvard Medical and all these things. The analogy he does is he talks about the fact that America has had kind of like a car garage mentality. You drive your car, it breaks, and then we fix it. Well, what about all the preventive stuff you could do? You check the air in the tires, you keep the oil, keep the water, just maintain it. And the secretaries had the same type of philosophy. How do we intercept disease early so it doesn't knock you out? It doesn't create all these other medical problems, knock you out of work, make you unemployed, and cost the taxpayers a massive amount of money and create a huge bunch of tension in the healthcare system and overstrain, the nurses and techs and docs that already work there. And he's gotten a lot of grief for trying to change that mentality. But if you're a patient, I've been a kidney patient for 49 years. I've seen the best and I've seen the worst. And if somebody had been able to work with me or with other patients very early on, I think we couldn't have changed the trajectory all the time of our disease, but you can make things better. And there's no lack of glory or lack of honor in that. And I think what the secretary is doing is he's saying, hey, look, we're Americans. We can think a different way. Let's prevent human suffering. And it's real common sense stuff. It takes it down to the grassroots level. Local farmers markets, what you eat, all this matters. And he has put a spotlight on it and has generated a huge amount of criticism from the right critics, I think. Elitist, establishment folks, people that don't want to think a different way. He's not afraid to take them on. No fear.
When I look at the cabinet, I look at three. I mean, there's a lot of different cabinet members that have really done a great job. But I look at three that are indispensable, and those are Secretary Kennedy, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, who I saw yesterday, and then Secretary of the Treasury Scott Bessent. I mean, you look at what these three guys have done; it's pretty incredible work. So, but Trump's entire cabinet, I certainly miss Tulsi Gabbard. I wish her and her husband the best as he's going through cancer, but. He's got a really extraordinary cabinet, so much different than Trump one, where there was a revolving door of backstabbing pieces of crap. We don't have that now, right? But Kennedy has been amazing. I love seeing him on TV. I love what he does. I love Dr. Oz. I'm a big supporter of Oz, as everybody knows, and I just think these guys are tremendous. And look what they've done with fraud. I mean, billions and what was it, $100 billion in fraud that they're snuffing out, Paul?
Yeah, it's over 100 billion. And when you take a look at what they're doing, so, cabinet officers have a huge amount of authority. And in many cases, there's a fear to exercise your full authority. And one of the areas in which you can make a massive difference is in fraud, waste, and abuse. And the nice thing about this is you have inspector generals who document this stuff over a period of years. On the legislative side, you have the Government Accountability Office, the GAO. And so when you come in as a cabinet officer, you have a punch list. The question is, do you have a staff around you who's willing to back you up and identify the targets and go after them? And the fascinating thing about Secretary Kennedy and Dr. Oz is they know what this goat rodeo is. They know what the excuses are, and they know where the evidence is. And they are following that relentlessly. In the case of Dr. Oz, he's not afraid to reach into Medicare and take a look at how the systems are, and then go back to the states and say, hey, states, you're also on the hook and accountable for this. If you're not respecting the taxpayers, and if you're not respecting the dollars that they put into the healthcare system that are intended to help people, but are instead lining the pockets of fraudsters, we're going to hold you accountable. And so they've sent these lightning bolts into the establishment where it's not just directed at the fraudsters, but it's also directed at the people who have turned the other way and accommodated them and not cared to exercise their authority to hold people accountable. And I'll tell you, Secretary Kennedy's not one of those, and neither is Dr. Oz.
Tell me about where you go from here, Paul. I'm a big fan of yours. I'm very inspired by what you've done, how you've survived. Because normally you go on kidney dialysis, it's basically a sentence of death. That's the way it's been. It's just a matter of time before you end up in hospice. You've been able to survive this. You're a very courageous man and an inspiration to so many others with kidney disease. What are you doing now? How can we help you advance what Kennedy is doing, and to get people to understand that kidney dialysis is the last resort, not the first resort?
I tell you what, the best thing
is that a good question?
Yeah, no, it's a fantastic question, John, and I appreciate it. I've been fortunate because I've had great doctors that I trusted, that I could speak plainly and directly to about what I wanted to do in life. I would tell folks, stay strong in your faith, number one. Number two, if you have a friend or a loved one who has high blood pressure, hypertension, or diabetes, encourage them to get screened for kidney disease, because there's so many wonderful innovations that have come into the market just in the past 4 or 5 years that can stop the progression of the disease and avoid the need for dialysis or waiting on a transplant list. I waited 3 years on a transplant list. I was 3 years on dialysis. And I am lucky because half the people on dialysis die within 5 years. I mean, that's just a fact. But we can do better about that. Where do we go next? If you're ever with an elected official or want to call your elected official, you could call them and tell them, hey, look, I really respect what the president's trying to do, intervening in kidney disease earlier. of taking a look at the connection between heart disease, kidney disease, and diabetes, and trying to help solve problems for the whole person, not just one disease. There are all these great things that are going on about the connectivity of heart and kidney and metabolism. And the best thing I think folks can do is speak up, thank your elected leaders for trying to do the right thing and bring medicine closer to the people, and then understand that things like citizen science, allowing citizens to have their voice included in medicine and in research is vitally important.
Paul Conway, always love having you on, Paul. You're very inspiring. I want to thank you for what you do, and thank you for your support of RFK Jr., who's I'm a super fan of. Dr. Oz are doing a super job. And it's an exciting time to finally, focused on health. And I've got the gamut. I've got a son that was a weight lifter, bouncer, and now he's getting his PhD. He runs half the company. I've got my younger son, pitches for the University of Maryland. There's not an ounce of body fat on him. Like he manages everything he eats. I mean, the nutrition is like a 10. And then my daughter suffers from anorexia and hasn't been able to beat it. And, it's a horrible disease. So, our family has seen the gamut of it.
Yeah, John.
And health is the whole thing. You don't have your health, you don't have anything. So be healthy, stay healthy, eat right, and drink in moderation.
and keep the faith.
He says, Dr. Oz says he calls it social, what he calls it? Social inebriation or something. He's good. Drinking is good, but just...
He's a real person, right?
He knows you're going to drink. He said, just, it's good for social, but, a couple glasses of wine are good. The whole bottle, not so good. Paul, thanks for being with us. People want to follow you, Paul. Where do they go?
You can go on to Kidney Patients or Kidney Patient on X, Kidney Patient, and you can check out our free materials and learn more about disease prevention at aakp.org.
You're a good man, Paul Conway. Thanks for being with us and thanks for sharing. I really appreciate you, man. I really, really appreciate Paul. I appreciate what he does. I got things falling all over the place here. We're going to be right back on the John Fredericks Media Network. Stay with us.
That's why you need sat phone. Sat phones are reliable, durable, and give you global coverage. If you can get outside, you can get in touch. It's that simple. Make calls from your sat phone to any regular cell phone in the United States. The phones are $1,500 value, but you can get yours free. Just sign up for a 15-month plan, $94.95 a month. Get 150 minutes monthly that roll to the next month. Go 3 months without using them, that's fine. Yes, 3 months, 450 minutes, all yours. Visit SAT123.com or call 855-980-5830. SAT123.com, 855-980-5830. Get surety and security with your sat phone. Call now.
Everybody's talking about weight loss injections because the results are so dramatic. They work by lowering blood sugar and reducing appetite. So, what if you're looking to lose weight but not interested in painful weekly injections, especially when you hear about some of those intense side effects? That's why doctors created a weight loss supplement called Lean, and the results are remarkable. The ingredients studied in Lean have been shown to lower your blood sugar, burn fat by converting it into energy, and curb your appetite and cravings, so you're not as hungry. But listen, Lean is not for the casual dieter with only a few pounds to lose. The doctors at Brickhouse Nutrition created Lean for frustrated dieters with 10 or more pounds to lose. Get started with 20% off and free rush shipping so you can add Lean to your healthy diet and exercise plan. Go to takelean.com and enter the code Godzilla for your discount. That's discount code Godzilla at takelean.com.
MyPillow's second annual mega sale is finally here. Get our patented premium MyPillows that adjust your exact individual needs to give you the best sleep of your life.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
I guarantee they're going to be the most comfortable pillows you'll ever own. King size only $24.98. Queen size only $19.98. Giza Dream bed sheets, the best sheets in history, as low as $29.98. Lux Beer's 6-piece towel sets. Towels that actually dry you. What a concept. Now only $39.98. And our made in the USA mattresses and mattress toppers as low as $99.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. Plus, free shipping options available when you order today. So don't delay, order now.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Hey folks, Al Green here for SatPhone. When you're on the go, you want to know you're connected. If it's a family vacation or an off-the-grid escape to a remote destination, having reliable communication helps you feel safe and secure. You can't afford to find yourself in a dead zone. That's why you need SatPhone. SatPhones are reliable, durable, and give you global coverage. If you can get outside, you can get in touch. It's that simple. Make calls from your SatPhone to any regular cell phone in the United States. The phones are $1,500 value, but you can get yours free. Just sign up for a 15-month plan, $94.95 a month. Get 150 minutes monthly that roll to the next month. Go 3 months without using them, that's fine. Yes, 3 months, 450 minutes, all yours. Visit SAT123.com or call 855-980-5830. SAT123.com, 855-980-5830. Get surety and security with your sat phone. Call now.
If you want to go after an athlete, one of my athletes, you go after one that doesn't do the right things. You don't downgrade him because he does everything right and may not play as well on Saturday, and you let us make that decision. That's why I don't read the newspaper, because it's garbage, and the editor that let it come out is garbage. Attacking an amateur athlete for doing everything right. And then you want to write articles about guys that don't do things right and downgrade them, the ones that do make plays. Are you kidding me? Where are we at in society today? Come after me! I'm a man! I'm 40!
Don't touch that dial. You've found your home of the truth.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
With the best analysis in America.
You can't handle the truth!
And now back to the John Fredericks Show.
Well, you got him. Great to have you with us. And I am your Godzilla of the truth in America, your Oracle of the deplorables. Knocking it out. We got Jenny Beth Martin coming up right now. Jenny Beth is the founder of the Tea Party Patriots, and she's going to be joining us in a moment. And she got a couple of things that she sent for you, maybe to get up there, Dan, right in the chat there, if you want to take a look at that. But I got to tell you, man, I'm losing weight. So far, lost 2 pounds in 2 weeks, which is, I lose a pound a week. That's what I want. I got to get down to 225. Right now, 242, baby. 243. Started 245, lost 2 pounds. Boom. How do I do it? Lean weight loss, Dan. I'm telling you, you too can be a spokesperson for lean if you take it and you lose weight. You got to lose weight. Otherwise, you can't be a spokesperson because you got to follow the rules, which are open this up. Take 3 of these babies a day. They're in capsule form, right? I already took mine, dump them right in. Full glass of water. Here's what it does. Great for your metabolism, keeps it going, gives you energy. That's good. More energy, you move around more. That's good. And it turns fat, it burns it. So it does 3 things for you, and it's very healthy. It's natural. I'm not one to get shots, not into it. Not that I have a problem with shots, but just, don't like synthetic things in my body. I already did one of those with the vaccine had enough, right? So don't like doing it. That's why I take supplements. Testosterone is one. Lean is working for me so far, 2 pounds in 2 weeks. That's the goal. If you try to lose like 20 pounds in a week, you're just going to put it back on. It's not healthy. Long, sustainable, enduring. I mean, I started this journey at 285. I'm now 243, right? It's taken me 2 years. It's been 2 years I've been on this journey. So that's what, 100 weeks? And I've lost 50 pounds. So, but it's staying off. That's the key, right? You do this spiking, it never works. This is really, really going to help you out. So I recommend everybody that is serious about losing weight. And you got to be serious about it, right? If you're serious about it, go to takelean.com, takelean.com. Use promo code Godzilla. You're going to get 20% off. Takelean.com, promo code Godzilla, 20% off. Check it out. Now, obviously, if you're going to drink a 6-pack of beers every night, you're not going to lose weight. I mean, that's the way God made beer. So if you're going to do that, don't even do this. But if you're serious about losing weight and you say, look, I'm going to go through this program, I'm going to do a little walking. Look, I walk maybe twice a week on the week. I don't have time. I'm getting up at 3:50 a.m. I'm not going to go walking. I do 75 push-ups. That's about it. But, moderate exercise, a little bit of walking, watch what you eat. Don't eat a lot of garbage, chips, crackers, cookies, pretzels, all that stuff will nail your butt. That's my biggest weakness. Now, if you're eating a bowl of ice cream before you go to bed, you're not going to lose weight. I mean, it's simple as that. So you want to take this very seriously, but it could be your answer, and I'm not into injections. So far, go with me on this journey. Go to takelean.com, takelean.com, promo code Godzilla, and you've got 20% off and you're good to go. Dan, you're good to go. I know you're fired up. Okay, we're getting to Jenny Beth Martin. Jenny Beth, good to have you with us. You put a couple of clips in there, Dan. What are those? You want to run those, Jenny, or what?
Well, thank you so much for having me. And I think we were going to discuss my new polling, so I just made sure you guys have the links for that if you wanted to show it.
Okay. Yeah, Dan, why don't we put that up? It'll take Dan a minute, but new national poll, 82% of Americans say only U.S. citizens should vote in federal elections. And these were your national survey results, Tea Party Patriots, July 15 to 21. But Jenny, it doesn't matter. I mean, I hate to be this way, but you can do all the polls you want. John Thune isn't going to even hold a vote. They're going on vacation. They don't do jack crap, Jenny. They do nothing. He won't have the vote. He doesn't want his people on the record. They won't get rid of the parliamentarian. They won't get rid of the filibuster. They won't even put a vote on the floor. Now they want to go on vacation. So the polls are relevant, Jenny, because he doesn't do anything.
Well, I think that there is a question in the poll that is relevant. It says that I think it's 55% of Americans want the Senate to continue working on the Save America Act. And right now, between now and Friday, we need to keep the pressure on the Senate to continue and stay in session rather than going on recess. You're right. Senator Thune is not doing what he should be doing. He's not making sure that this bill gets across the line, and it's very, very frustrating. But so far, we have at least 18 senators who have said they want to stay in session and not go on recess. More are being added to that list every single day. And I know that the Senate is meeting this morning to discuss the Save America Act. We had a very important development in this effort to stay in and continue working on the Save America Act yesterday, and that is that Senator Lankford from Oklahoma said he wanted to stay in session and continue working on it. He's part of Senate leadership, and when you get people who are part of Senate leadership who start stepping up, hopefully it can sway others in the Republican conference to do the same.
How do you go home and face the music when you don't even work? Like, How do you go back to your state? First of all, they say, "Oh, we're going to do constituent services." You ain't gonna do any constituent. All you guys do is talk to donors. Okay, like get out of my face. You don't have town halls. You don't talk to you don't let people call in or talk to you. No, You got an answer. You got people answering the phone. You meet with your big donors or somebody that's got a problem that gives you money. It's not like you're having town halls. So, like, shut up. You don't do crap. And now you want to go on another vacation, and we got illegals voting all over the place.
Yeah, it's a huge problem. We have 6,600 that we know of that the Democrats have admitted in the state of New Jersey. In Alaska, there are over 3,000 non-citizens on the voter rolls. On their election division website, they actually say that they are registering non-citizens. And if you're a non-citizen, you need to call and have yourself removed from the voter rolls. This is a huge problem. And the problem stems from the National Voter Registration Act. It does not require proof of citizenship. That's why we're trying to get the Save America Act passed, so that you have to show proof of citizenship to register to vote. If they go home and they don't work on this and they haven't gotten this done, all that they are going to hear from their constituency is anger. It's all that I hear. Everywhere that I go throughout the entire country, all I hear is, why can't they get this done? They can't even get this done. If they get this done, the base will be much more motivated, despite the fact that everything isn't going as perfectly as we had hoped by this point in President Trump's presidency. I think they will be motivated to go vote and make sure we hold the House and the Senate. If they don't get this done, I think the base is much less motivated to go vote. And this is something that 82% of Americans agree with. Only American citizens should be voting in American elections.
Do these clowns up there have a clue? I mean, I'm here every day. I'm in D.C., as you know. I cover this. They don't have a clue. They don't care. Look, they're writing Trump out. They hate him, okay? They don't want him. They have to deal with him. They're writing him out. They know 2 years he's gone. They don't care if they lose. They'll be in the minority. Then they can, like, hide behind mommy's apron and go on Fox News, the phone in the shoe, and all the nonsense they do. The frustration of the base is what you just said. They don't do anything. What I'm supposed to go knock on doors. I'm supposed to do mail. I'm supposed to handwrite mailers. I'm supposed to make phone calls. I'm supposed to donate my time for what? John Thune? So they can do nothing again? I don't think so. That's the problem. That's why we have an intensity gap, which is growing by the day, because the Republicans in the Senate, Jenny Beth Martin, don't do crap.
Yeah, I think that is a real problem. Look, they are trying. I'll give credit where it's due. They are trying to get the continuing resolution passed so we don't have a government shutdown. They do have to do that, and that has been Senator Thune's priority right now. I would be working on getting that done and on reconciliation so that I could get Save America Act passed. But okay, if you can't do both at the same time, then do one and now do the other. So get this CR taken care of, and then work on getting the reconciliation bill done so that we can have the Save America Act passed. And I think that the reconciliation path is the best and most likely path to be able to get this bill passed at the moment. And we still have an issue with a parliamentarian, but they don't have to do what the parliamentarian says. They can listen to what the parliamentarian says, and then they are still the ones who are elected. They are the senators, and the parliamentarian is not.
They won't overrule the parliamentarian because they'll hide behind her, Jenny Beth. They'll hide behind her and say, well, the parliamentarian says we can't put it in reconciliation, so we can't have it, even though all you need is 50 votes to basically kick her to the curb and override her. But they're not going to do it. You know it and I know it. So, look, I love your poll and I love your enthusiasm, but Thune's not.
John, what do you want to happen? What do you want to happen? I'm doing everything that I can to get this bill passed. The only way that I know how to do that, I don't have massive amounts of money to stuff their campaign coffers to make them do what I want, which is what lobbyists would do. I don't have that. What I do have is a grassroots base who wants them to do the right thing and who will vote or not vote for them if they do or don't do the right thing.
Well,
and I can sit here and complain about them all day long.
Well, they should flood his office with calls and basically
they have been.
Well, and then the second thing we need to do is get a candidate to beat him in South Dakota in 2028. I mean, the only thing these people understand, Jenny Beth, the only thing they understand is kick them out of office. Like John Cornyn now understands that. Cassidy understands it. These other losers understand it. We got to kick them out.
Well, we should kick them out, but between now and 2028, we have 20, 26, 27 months before that election happens. Between now and then, we have to get this bill passed so that we have proof of citizenship to register to vote and voter ID in the 2028 election. We need it in this election. At the very least, we need voter ID in this election. So if all I'm doing is focused on the election in 2 years from now, then it is on Senator Thune, then I'm losing the opportunity to work on the rest of the elections around the country, which I'm trying to make more secure. I understand you're frustrated. I'm frustrated. I've been working on this bill since January of 2024 when I asked Senator Mike Lee to write it. 80% of Americans agree with us on it. The Senate should get its act together and get it done. I can yell and scream and be angry, or I can look for ways to take all that passion and turn it into some sort of productive action. And I'm trying to find a way to turn it into productive action. And I urge the rest of the viewers to do so as well. And when we get through in November of this year, then we start looking at who's going to run in 2028 against Thune, who's going to run for the Republican nomination for the president and all of that. But we still have a lot of work to do right in front of us right now. And we can't take our eye off of the short-term goal.
Listen, I agree with you there. I mean, the Democrats are going to fight this because they know if they can't cheat, they can't win.
Yeah, they're going to fight it because of that and because they're crazy and they're communist. And they will do anything that they can to advance that communist agenda. And so I'm doing all that I can to try to make sure we have free and fair elections and to play within our system.
What is your pathway to getting the SAVE Act passed? Like, what is your vision for the pathway to do that? As many of us up here in DC are very frustrated. Give us the avenue to get
my action items for right now for this week are to keep the pressure going, to do our very best to try to get the Senate to stay in session and continue working on the Save America Act. The Senate has a conference, the Republican conference meeting today. They'll be discussing what their plans are for that. And I urge them to stay in session and to continue working on this. Then whether they stay in session or not, we keep working because the reconciliation bill that the House passed, the leadership in the House told me they did not expect that bill to pass into law until September. So that means that no matter what, when the House comes back and either the Senate continues working on it or when they come back, they have to get that reconciliation bill done. And they have about 14 days in the month of September to get it done.
So in the reconciliation bill, so it goes to reconciliation. The SAVE Act is there. So let's just play this out, right, as candidly as we can. So the parliamentarian rejects it, which we know is going to happen.
Well, it is possible that the parliamentarian rejects it outright, as it was when it was originally passed from the House, because that is almost purely policy. What the House Republicans have been working on doing is adding money to it and incentives to states and grants to states so that it can pass what is called the Byrd Rule, so that the parliamentarian won't just rule it out of the ability to leave it in reconciliation. I also heard from Senate leadership last week that they're looking at the reconciliation bill. They're looking at every aspect of the Save America Act and making sure that all of the committees that the Save America Act would touch are handled in the reconciliation bill, because if it doesn't go to those committees, it also could be ruled not reconcilable for that. So the Senate leadership, while they aren't doing everything I want, I at least heard that from them, and I find that to be positive. It's the most positive thing I've heard from the Senate leadership about it. Otherwise, what I had been hearing in the news is they weren't going to take it up and they weren't working on it at all. But I have heard that they're working on that and that they're in touch with the White House, working with the White House. Now, what they do in the end, I don't know. I can't. They're the Republican Senate leadership. You and I both know what we think of that. But what I do know is those are the cards that we have to play right now. So I'm doing all I can to make sure I don't leave anything on the table.
All right. So number one is they can't go on vacation. That's
Right.
number one. And let's stop calling this a recess, because this is a vacation. They already had one in June. Now they want another one.
Well, and they won't even recess, because if they recess, then we could have recess appointments. So
Right.
it's
So they won't do
this
that. So it is a
yeah.
vacation. So they want another month vacation. I don't think so.
And they want their paid opportunity with taxpayer dollars to go on congressional delegation visits to foreign countries which they'll be doing in the month of August.
Yeah,
So it's not just a vacation, but it's paid trips to foreign countries with taxpayer dollars.
Junkets, basically. Junkets. So they want their junket. They want their vacation. So the first thing we have to do is get them to actually stay and work like everybody else has to do, right? The first thing is stay and work. Second thing is to revamp the reconciliation out of the House so that it's tied to financial decisions, so that there's a chance they can stay.
And the House has already done that. So it's the Senate picking up what the House has already done and continuing to work on it. The House is working on that part already.
So then it gets in reconciliation, whether the parliamentarian rejects it or not. She has no power. 50 votes override it with Vance. It's done.
Right.
So they need to get the 50 votes. Thune is saying they don't have 50 votes. So here's the missing piece of your pie here. President Trump has a phone and a pen. He just needs to call these guys in and gals and say, look, you're either going to vote for this or I'm cutting you off. RNC is not going to give you a dime, nothing, zero, zilch. And if Thune still rejects it, he needs to publicly call on leadership change and have a vote of leadership. We have to do something dramatic or they're going to cheat again.
Well, I agree with that, except that the Senate gets their money from the National Republican Senatorial Committee, not from the RNC as much. So they're raising their own money. So that leverage from President Trump, while it's important, it's not. They're getting a lot from the NRSC. So it won't cut them off completely.
Well, it'll still make a difference.
It will make a difference. I'm just pointing out that it isn't because of the way that the House and the Senate spend money through.
Would you agree with me that President Trump, and I was just in the Oval Office yesterday, I got 5 questions. So obviously I'm dialed in here. Would you agree with me that for President Trump to keep saying, oh, John Thune's a nice guy, he's doing a good job, isn't that counterproductive now?
Well, I think that it is a bit counterproductive because you and I are focused on the Save America Act. President Trump is also focused on the war powers, and he's focused on the continuing resolution. He's focused on his nominees. So he's looking at other factors than just the Save America Act. I think he should be instead of playing Mr. Nice Guy, he needs to be a little bit more tough with them. I agree with you on that.
Jenny, they're waiting him out.
Yeah, they are. They absolutely are. And I don't think that they respect him. I think many of them are like Cassidy. Cassidy at least is being honest about how he feels about President Trump. I think there are many senators in that conference who are sitting there behind closed doors thinking and acting the same way Cassidy is publicly.
They just want him to go away so they can get back to Romney, Jeb Bush, this Bush, that Bush.
Because they don't like him and they don't like us. They don't like the grassroots.
No, they don't. They just want to get back to doing nothing, being in the minority, making their money, and worried about what office they have and how many windows it has on what floor. Yes, Senator, no Senator. Would you like a hot cup of coffee, Senator? Would you like a cold soft drink? Senator, here's your limo. Senator, your plane is ready, this and that. Senator, here's your 19-person staff fawning over you every day. That's all they care about, Jenny. They don't care about anything, and they certainly don't care about us. Otherwise, this thing would have gotten on the floor for a vote. I understand if you don't have the votes. Like, I get it.
But they do. They've got 50 votes for the House-backed version of the bill.
They get it on the floor.
That's right.
Instead, they're going on vacation. So they don't have to get it on the floor. And then you question John Thune about it, who's a complete, feckless, cowardly, no backbone spine weasel, That's what he is. He's a weasel who then says, well, the White House has got a phone. The hell's your job? Your job is to be the leader. Go get the votes. I don't have the votes. I can't count it. Well, get an abacus. I don't know what to tell you. It's really frustrating.
Yeah, it's very frustrating. Things are really tough for Speaker Johnson, and you don't see him giving up. Instead, he talks to all the factions, figures out where there's common ground, and finds a way to get it done with a thinner, slimmer margin in the House.
Unbelievable. The guy's a beast. Jenny Beth Martin, I got to go. Spirited discussion. People want to follow you, Jenny Beth Martin. Where do they go?
Jenny Beth M on social media and teapartypatriots.org.
Thanks, Jenny. John McGuire next. Keep it right here.
It's confirmed that its warehouse there was on fire and that staff had been evacuated.
Russia blames Ukraine for deadly weekend bombing at a Moscow restaurant. 5 people killed, 19 injured. Authorities in fire-ravaged Spokane, Washington are holding an accused arsonist on $1 million bond. 37-year-old man allegedly started one of 3 fires that have destroyed hundreds of homes, forcing 60,000 people to evacuate. A Senate committee expected to take a vote today to advance Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche's nomination to lead the Department of Justice. Watching Wall Street, Dow futures up 546 points. The Nasdaq futures ahead 331, S&P futures up 26 points. Townhall.com.
Progressive presents the Museum of You.
We begin our tour with a unique piece, a relic from the early big screen television era. Remarkable. Next, we find a juicer, which historians believe has only ever been used once. And finally, compact discs from the emo era. A rare find indeed.
Some things should be history, but until then, you could protect what's important to you and save by bundling your auto insurance with a renter's policy from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Alex Marlow cuts through the political spin on the Alex Marlow podcast.
The economics of illegal immigration is so dumb. It's so stupid for Americans. We want American dollars to stay in America. That's how the economy grows. But if I pay an illegal alien and they send 50% of it home, the money doesn't go to American businesses. It goes to another country. Why do we want that? It's a race to the far-left Islamist wing of the party.
Subscribe for free today on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, or at SalemPodcastNetwork.com.
Congo still struggling to contain a deadly Ebola outbreak.
Ebola has killed over 1,700 people in eastern Congo, marking the fastest growing outbreak of the disease. Over 3,800 cases have been recorded. The outbreak has led to challenges like mistrust, violence, and unpaid healthcare workers. Africa's CDC Director General has warned that nearly 80% of the new cases are from community spread, not contact tracing, and is linked to a variation of the virus for which there are no currently approved vaccines or treatments. Although there are clinical trials being conducted, the outbreak is spreading faster than health officials can track, with patient 0 still unidentified. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
Europe is grappling with a record-breaking hot, dry summer as wildfires rage, water-dropping planes involved in the battle against a huge wildfire in Greece. News and analysis at townhall.com. President Trump taking a couple of banking industry giants to court.
Capital One closed President Trump's accounts in mid-2021 after flagging financial activity that resembled money laundering. The bank disclosed this in a court filing over the weekend. Trump has sued Capital One, alleging the closures were politically motivated following the January 6 Capitol attacks. Capital One seeks to dismiss the lawsuit, stating the closures followed months of analysis by its anti-money laundering team. Trump has also sued JPMorgan Chase, claiming similar political motivations. Both banks deny these claims, citing unusual practices as the reason for severing ties with President Trump. I'm Ken Sweet.
Investors in Elon Musk's space company will get the chance to question him today in his first quarterly earnings call since an initial public offering. Stock in SpaceX is down by half from its peak in June. More on these stories, townhall.com.
And they're off.
This summer, the Thunder returns to Colonial Downs Racetrack. Live thoroughbred racing June 25th through September 7th. Feel the excitement. Hear the roar of the crowd. Experience Virginia's premier horse racing destination every Thursday through Sunday all summer long. Bring the whole family for Family Fun Sundays, packed with activities for all ages. Parking? Free. General admission? Free. Memories? Priceless. Make Colonial Downs Racetrack your new summer fun time tradition. Get tickets and race day info now at colonialdowns.com.
Never folded, and he never will. Paid for by Vanford, Tennessee.
Washington is wasting $500 million every year on a federal supervision system that doesn't work. Probation officers are overwhelmed. Resources are going to people who pose zero threat, while actual dangerous individuals slip through the cracks. The Safer Supervision Act stops the waste and refocuses every dollar on protecting families from harm. President Trump's own pollster found about 80% of Trump voters want this fixed. It's time for Congress to get this done. Stop the waste. Protect our communities. Visit safersupervision.com. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
Trouble concentrating or recalling information is frustrating, embarrassing, and kills productivity. Nutrition company Healthy Cell created Focus and Recall to boost your brain power. Unlike other supplements that don't work, Focus and Recall is not a pill. It's a gel you swallow with ultra-absorption of science-backed ingredients to help you immediately sharpen focus, concentrate longer, and strengthen recall. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order. Risk-free. Love it or your money back. Guaranteed. Healthycell.com. Code GODZILLA.
Bad decisions limit future options. Make enough bad decisions and you will destroy your life. Listen to The Flatline with your host, Rick Hughes, every Sunday morning on the John Fredericks Radio Network. The Flatline describes a main line of resistance in your soul, built on God's Word. Join us every Sunday morning for 30 minutes of inspiration, motivation, and education, all without manipulation. That's The Flatline with Rick Hughes, heard here every Sunday at 8:30 a.m. on the John Fredericks Radio Network.
Folks, this is Crom Carmichael, CEO of Solti. I have recently turned 77 years old. I do not take prescription drugs. I have not had to take prescription drugs, and I attribute a lot of my good health to a product that I've been taking, which is the active ingredient in Solti. It's a 22% concentration of theaflavin. We did clinical trials on it 25 years ago and found that it helped lower cholesterol. We have had many, many hundreds of letters and emails from customers telling us how it has helped them not only manage their cholesterol, but lower their triglycerides and help them on their blood pressure. And I can't tell you how much I attribute to Solti for my good health at age 77. And I encourage you to go to GodzillaHeart.com. That's GodzillaHeart.com. And use the code Godzilla at checkout, and you'll get a 50% off on your initial shipment of Solti. And I promise you it will be a great help for your heart health. Thanks so much.
Wagering at its finest, playing at the highest levels, under the highest stakes, for more than a decade. This is the world Past the Wire has conquered, bringing you uncompromised thoroughbred authority and elite track data that anchors the game. But the modern wagering landscape is expanding. Every sport, every line, every prop, and every high leverage future, we decode the metrics across the entire board. From game day spreads to the explosive new frontier of prediction markets and event contracts, we give you intelligence to dominate the modern financial exchanges. Because in the end, it's a battle. You versus the house. You versus the other players. In this arena, we fight with you. We are your ultimate edge. Welcome to the Ultimate Wagering Network. Subscribe to Past the Wire TV and turn on notifications, because when the dust settles,
nobody does it better.
He's
Live
the voice
from the studios of the
Virginia.
John Fredericks Media Network. It's the John Fredericks Show. Grab yourself a cup of 1775 coffee, sit back, and get ready for the best 4 hours of talk in the universe. To be part of the show, just call our toll-free number, 888-480-5646. And now, here's the Godzilla of Truth, the Oracle of the Deplorables, the man who always says to lace him up and lace him tight, John Fredericks.
Great to have you back on the John Fredericks Media Network. I am your Godzilla of the Truth in America, your Oracle of the Deplorables. John McGuire coming up in a few moments. He's going to be calling in. He's out campaigning, so can't do video. But it's always good to have him here. Big election today. If you're in Virginia, today is it. There's Republican primaries, basically a snooze fest, to be candid with you. McGuire's going to win, but you need to go out and vote. Nothing is guaranteed in this world, right? So you need to go out and vote for McGuire, District 5 in Virginia, and he's fired up. There's also a Senate primary. The two candidates, the two ones that there's about three in there. Some lady, I can't ever think of her name. I'm sorry. That's how involved I am when I can't remember your name. Kim Farrington, maybe? Nice enough young lady.
That's it. Yeah, Kim Farrington.
Yeah, nice enough young lady. Haven't had her on my show. Never really reached out to me. Bert Mizawawa, who I've asked on 4 times, canceled 3. And then yesterday couldn't get his video to work. So it's just an uninspiring thing. I mean, you're running for U.S. Senate, you can't get your video to work. I mean, it's the last day of the campaign. Plus, you canceled 3 times. It was a great guy, but, And then David Williams, who I'd vote for if I was in Virginia, simply because the guy made the effort to come to D.C. twice and get on my show live so he didn't have a video problem. He got up off his butt, came here at 6 in the morning, twice. So just based on that, I vote for David Williams, former Marine. I know Bert's a general or something. But look, my only interest in the Senate race in Virginia, I'm going to be candid, is a candidate that's going to get the most votes to help Jen Kiggins in the 2nd district. That's it. They're not going to win. You're not going to get elected. You're not going to beat Warner. But I want the candidate that can bring more voters out and lose by less. That's going to help Kiggins because they're at the top of the ticket. And a big Warner blowout, by 20 points or 15 really hurts the Kiggins campaign and helps Gloria, who's another communist. She's already been there. So Kiggins has got to win that race. It's very, very close. Toss up. Probably if you had to bet it right now on Kashi or Polymarket, Dan, you could probably look that up. She's probably the underdog, Kiggins, but I think she pulls it out. But if Kiggins wins, we're in great shape. Yeah, Major General in the Army, Bert. He's Dan's guy. I know he voted for him. Nice guy. I mean, I have no problem with Bert. I know him. He's a nice guy. But he, booked my show 3 times, canceled 3. And finally, his consultant got him on yesterday, and then his camera didn't work. I mean, you're running for U.S. Senate. I mean, you're an Army general. I mean, come on, man. Get somebody to get your video feed up for a national appearance. I mean, it is what it is. But, may the best person win. I have no vested. I've endorsed nobody. I have no dog in the hunt. I just hope that whoever wins can run a competitive race against Warner because you're not going to beat him. He's got millions of dollars and, Virginia's a blue state. So you're going to get trounced in Fairfax, the same old stuff, right? But if you can get votes, then that's a good thing. You need to get votes and help Kiggins. We have John on yet?
Dan? We don't right now. His staff tells me he's tried to call in 4 times. I don't see there's anything wrong with the phones, but I'm going to disconnect them and reconnect them to see if that triggers something.
Well,
I don't know what's going on.
Call him.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, let's see. Let me tell her that. Yeah. Okay.
Just have her give you his number and just call him. Easiest way to do it. So I'm here in Washington, D.C., still solving the problems. 200 miles away, and I'm still solving the problems. But here's another problem that I'm going to solve. Hey, this parasite thing from this lettuce, this thing's real, dude. I mean, I know now 2 people that have gotten this thing, and they're sick as dogs. I mean, they are really sick. And apparently you get abdominal cramps, you get cramps, you get all kinds of diarrhea. I mean, this thing is some nasty stuff. It is kind of a parasite that gets in you, and it comes from lettuce, and you can't wash it off. And the where it started is in Mexico with the water they have, and so God knows who's in that water. It started Taco Bell or wherever it started, and now it's all over the place. But I'm not concerned about it because Ann and I and Joe and our family has the wellness kit from the wellness company, their medical emergency kit. And right in here is everything you need. If you get that parasite thing, if you get that virus, it goes in you and you start feeling the cramps and your diarrhea is like crazy, you open up your medical kit, you can get rid of it in a day and a half. Day and a half, I'm told, it's gone because everything is right here. You don't have to go to the doctor. You don't have to go this. Don't do that. Everything is in your medical emergency kit right here, set up for that. If you order it today, they're going to tell you exactly what to do. It comes with a guidebook. You open it up. There's a guidebook. You look that virus up, that parasite, whatever you want to call it, the sickness. It starts with a C. I can't think of the word. You look that up, and boom, right? Everything is right there, and you just take it as prescribed in your guidebook and on the bottle, on the prescription bottle, the antibiotic, and it's gone in a day instead of 2 weeks. It's gone in 2 days instead of 2 weeks. How good is that? Every family should have your medical emergency kit right now because this thing is going around. Everybody's getting it. I got, like I said, 2 friends that are sick over it, and I don't want to get it because I'd be out 2 weeks. Some people just said it's a month before it works itself through your system. I don't have time for that. I don't want to be sick in bed, uncomfortable. All you got to do is take the antibiotics prescribed for it specifically in your medical emergency kit. But this will take a week to get there. So you can't just order it and it comes the next day, right? You got to go through a doctor. They have an online thing. Just go to twc.health/Godzilla. Do it now because you're going to regret it when you don't have it. twc.health/Godzilla, promo code Godzilla, and you're going to get 10% off. Promo code Godzilla, and you're going to get 10% off. Okay, while we're waiting for John, we got a couple of clips here that I want to run. Dan, if you don't mind. McGuire's got phone issues. I want to get back to what President Trump said. Here he's answering my question about what I posed, that ExxonMobil and Chevron made record profits in the second quarter. And as President Trump said, 12 times what they did last second quarter. This is price gouging. President Trump knows it, and he says they ought to be refunding this money, and I agree with him. But the price gouging, this has got to go through Department of Justice. Let's get to cut 6, Trump. 2 domestic questions, sir. The first one is Exxon and Chevron, integrated oil U.S., just announced record profits second quarter. Unbelievable. For Exxon, for instance, 14 billion, highest they've had in over a decade. For Chevron for the quarter, highest in history. On the backs,
12 times.
On the backs.
You saw that?
Yes. I mean, it's unbelievable. On the backs.
I don't like it.
Workers paying higher gas.
They're making too much money. Okay. Based on a shortage, they're making too much money. I don't like it. And I should be the last one to say, because I'm a big free enterprise guy. Nobody bigger. And, you know, you're going to see oil when we're finished with Iran. You're going to see the prices drop through the floor. But they made too much money. Too much money. Chevron, too much money. ExxonMobil, too much money. When you look at one company where they made 12 times what they made the year before, they got to give some of that back to the public. And they better cut the retail price, the consumer price. Too much money. You're surprised I'm saying it? I'll say it loud and clear. I'm not happy about it. Go ahead.
I mean, that is he just nailed it. They're making way too much money. Nobody's doing anything about it. The Justice Department was supposed to look into this, and so it's got to come down at the pump. And so finally, we get the president understanding how we're getting gouged here. Now, here's President Trump. Let's go to cut 8. Here's yesterday saying this is the last chance for the Iranians to sign a good document, or they're going to be in a very bad way. Roll it. 8, take a listen.
They don't like saying that they're talking. So I say, wait, we're in talks. Big deal. We're in talks. And they'll sometimes deny it, even though they spend hours and hours together talking. No, the talks are going along. We're going to hit them very hard yesterday. Very, very hard. Harder than any attack. I think I can say, General, from a point of knowledge, any attack since World War II. That's pretty big. And we were set to go. And they called. And in addition, Saudi Arabia called. And UAE called. Qatar called. Got calls from numerous people. I don't want to use the word begging, but some were, in particular, Iran did not want to be hit. And they said, we want to talk. We want to talk about the strait, but more importantly, from my standpoint, we want to talk about the denuclearization of Iran, because it's what it's all about. This is why I'm doing this. And it should have been done. It's now 50 years. We keep saying 47 years, but 3 years have gone by. But it's for 50 years that other presidents should have been doing or other countries. Didn't have to be us, but other countries. And nobody did it. And it was time, and we hit them hard with the B-2s more than a year ago now. And that knocked out their capability, their potential capability. And we've done a great job. But when we talk, we say we're talking. If we're not talking, when you ask me, no, we're not talking, I'll say it. But we are talking right now. We're talking. And we're talking at the request of Iran, backed by Saudi Arabia, backed by UAE, and backed by Qatar in particular, but others also. Many countries called, the leaders of many are friendly with a lot of them, almost all of them, one way or the other, and they all wanted to give this a last chance. This is a last chance. This is not something that, if it doesn't happen, this is a last chance for them to sign a good document.
Last chance. Either you're going to do it or you're not. And I think Trump is running out of patience. I've said this before, but look, he wants peace. I mean, it was obvious in that Oval Office discussion, he wants peace. He would like not to have civilians killed, which is going to happen when you undertake this type of bombing, and especially when the Iranians start making them as human shields. And this is what they're going to do because they have no value there for life. And we know that, and the president does. But they got one more shot. Are they going to do anything? No. I think we're just going to get back to bombing and eventually taking the straits over and taking Karg Island. Let's get to Mandami, the commie. Here's Mayor Mandami, and if he has any regrets about his pied-a-terre tax rollout, and he says he believes it's going to raise $500 million on an annual basis and keep our streets clean. So, his answer to everything is just tax the rich. Tax people that own 2 properties, tax their homes, tax their wealth, raise money, keep taxing him, and eventually they'll move out, and then he'll tax somebody else at a lower level, and they'll move out, and then he'll go to Hochul because he holds her hostage and get her money until that runs out, and then the riots will start. I mean, you know what the playbook is, right? We all know it. 9, Mandami, more taxes, roll it.
I'm sorry, do you mind?
Do you have any regrets about how it was rolled out? I mean, it was supposed to be something that you thought would help raise money for the city, and instead you have people who are really angry.
Look, I continue to believe that the pied-à-terre surcharge will raise $500 million on an annual basis, and the importance of this tax is that it is one that will ensure that our streets are cleaner, that our city is safer, that our schools are more supported. And what we are also doing is embarking on something new in New York City, where we are ensuring that we are assessing the primary residence of homeowners in homes that are worth more than $5 million. And we've sent out 17,000 letters. And now from that, we're receiving engagement from New Yorkers to assess what the final number is. The thing we did not want to do was levy this charge without giving New Yorkers a period of time where they could engage with the city. And now that's this period of engagement.
Oh, my God. So because he's giving New Yorkers an opportunity to engage with the city and dispute the value that the city is putting on their property at over $5 million, and the tax is based on what your property is worth. So if the city says it's worth $15 million, then you pay 3 times the tax of what it would be if it was worth $5 million. But see, it's all good because he's giving the residents an opportunity to engage with the city. Look at his words, engage with the city to be sure that what we're assessing you is fair. Not that we're not going to assess you. We sent 17,000 letters out demanding money and you push back. Think about this, folks. We're giving you time to engage with the city. No, what you should do is sell your property and get the hell out. Until you do that, this guy's going to continue to do this. All right, let's get to 9. Roll it.
Thank you. What a Marcia from CBS next.
Mr. Mayor, I want to follow up on the pied-à-terre tax.
Yes.
I wonder if you have any regrets about the way this was rolled out, because you have a lot of people who are angry that they were, first of all, that their information was public anyway, but secondly, they've been long-term residents of the city. They feel they don't have to prove that they've been living here since they've been living here all their lives. And do you regret the rollout? Would you have done it differently? And what do you want to say to these people who are angry?
I think first and foremost that I understand the concerns New Yorkers have, especially when it comes to a new tax. And as we know that new taxes typically present more questions than they do answers. Now, when it comes to the property tax roll and the you may be subject to letters, I do also want to state that there has been both a willful and an unintentional conflation of both the property tax roll and these letters. The property tax roll, as you know, is something that the city releases twice a year annually and has been doing so for decades, frankly, if not longer. This is a tax roll that was released that had more than 900,000 homes on it. And we know that the pied-à-terre surcharge is for secondary homes of non-resident New Yorkers. The city sent a letter to 17,000 homeowners. That is a fraction of the number of homeowners in New York City and a fraction of the number of people who call the city home, and 8.5 million. And in that letter, it stated that this is the process by which you can engage with the city to ensure that if you do not believe this to be an accurate assessment of your property, you have the time to appeal this assessment. And so whether New Yorkers are going to call 311 or they're going to call the Department of Finance directly, or also now if they want to go directly to a business center in person, we want to make sure that they have all the resources necessary to that.
Oh, okay. So they're going to be sure that you have all the resources available in such a nice way to go to the Department of Finance or call 311 or engage with them to be sure that the tax that we're charging you is the right amount. We don't want to overcharge you. This is a new tax. Home valued over 500,000, over 5 million, and you're non-primary residents. So you live in Florida or somewhere else and you have a home here. Maybe you rent it out or maybe not. Maybe just come to go to a show. I don't know. But you're going to get taxed. And it's going to be a tax on the value of the home, not tax on your income, not a property tax. You're already paying a property tax. Understand what this tax is. You're paying a property tax. If your home is $10 million, you're already paying a New York City property tax, which is one of the highest in the country. So you're paying a property tax, like we all do that own homes anywhere. Or you pay a property tax. Yay. Now what he's doing is on top of the property tax is a wealth tax on what they believe the home is worth. So if they're saying, well, if you have a home that's worth $10 million and you're paying, $300,000 of property taxes, well, we also need to get 20% of what that home is worth. So you're going to have to pay another $1 million because it's worth a lot of money and you're sitting on it and you're not a resident. And so, we need to be sure that we get more money from you. And we're going to keep, to get the 500 million, we're going to have to tax you. And it's only 17,000. We only send 17,000 letters out. I mean, there's, 8.5 million people here. There's 900,000 homeowners. I only sent out 17,000. I'm only after 17,000 people. If 17,000 today, 170,000 tomorrow, 350 the next day. I mean, look where this is going. They're just going to extract. This is not a tax. This is a confiscation of your asset. Because if you're going to pay this wealth home tax, you don't necessarily have that money. I mean, you've not sold it. This is not capital gains. I bought it for $5 million. I sold it for 10. I got to pay this city a capital gains tax because I made $5 million. No, I'm still there. I still own it. I didn't sell it. But now I got to pay another, $500,000 of taxes. I don't have that cash lying around. So now what do? Now I have to sell the property to pay the money on the property that I don't want to sell. And in order to sell it, I have to go through the city building commission in order to get permission to sell it, to give you the money of the tax on the home's value above and beyond the property tax. Do you understand what this guy is doing? This is Marxism. You have built something, you own something, you work for something, and they are simply going to confiscate it. You don't deserve that. You don't deserve a second home in New York City worth over $5 million. You didn't do that. We're taking that. We're going to take it in bits and pieces, but we're taking it. I mean, does anybody understand what this guy is doing except me? Where's the New York Times, the Washington Post? Where's everybody? This is communism. This is communism. This is Marxism. And it's going to extend beyond $5 million. It's going to extend to everybody that owns something over $1 million. He is going to start confiscating. He's confiscating your property. You don't have the money to pay it. You got to sell it, but you got to go through them to sell it. And they get first dibs. And they'll determine what they're going to pay you. So you can't leave. It's unfriggin' believable what this guy is doing. And the fake news media is fawning over him until they take their houses. Because, of course, they don't live there. Just like they don't live in Washington, D.C., and they rail against the National Guard because they don't live here. They don't have to take their wife on the metro at night. They don't have to do that. They're in Northern Virginia in their gated community, eating their caviar, their champagne at their HOA parties with guards and gates. You understand what's going on here, folks. Just get it. And you got John Thune running around with his thumb up his butt trying to go on vacation. Yo, screw you, Thune. I'll be right back.
Off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com. Code Godzilla for 20% off.
Everybody's talking about weight loss injections because the results are so dramatic. They work by lowering blood sugar and reducing appetite. So, what if you're looking to lose weight but not interested in painful weekly injections, especially when you hear about some of those intense side effects? That's why doctors created a weight loss supplement called Lean, and the results are remarkable. The ingredients studied in Lean have been shown to lower your blood sugar, burn fat by converting it into energy, and curb your appetite and cravings, so you're not as hungry. But listen, Lean is not for the casual dieter with only a few pounds to lose. The doctors at Brickhouse Nutrition created Lean for frustrated dieters with 10 or more pounds to lose. Get started with 20% off and free rush shipping so you can add Lean to your healthy diet and exercise plan. Go to takelean.com and enter the code Godzilla for your discount. That's discount code Godzilla at takelean.com.
It's time we send a farmer to Congress. Charlie Hatcher, a fifth-generation Tennessee farmer who served under Governor Bill Lee. A business owner, Charlie Hatcher is an America First conservative who gets things done. Pro-gun, pro-life, pro-Trump, Charlie Hatcher is the trusted conservative leader we need. Endorsed by Tennessee leaders, Charlie Hatcher is built farm tough. On August 6th, vote Charlie Hatcher. It's time we send a farmer to Congress. Invest in Tomorrow Coalition PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Every morning, your Godzilla of Truth sets the table with the day's news. Starting August 17th at 10, Wendy Bell goes live with reaction and her own fiery fabulosity.
And I want MAGA to grow a wave of red, the likes of which you've never seen.
August 17th.
You're on the cusp of a golden age.
Wendy Bell, are you ready to go? Weekdays 10 to noon. On the John Fredericks Media Network.
Bad decisions limit future options. Make enough bad decisions and you will destroy your life. Listen to The Flatline with your host, Rick Hughes, every Sunday morning on the John Fredericks Radio Network. The Flatline describes a main line of resistance in your soul, built on God's Word. Join us every Sunday morning for 30 minutes of inspiration, motivation, and education, all without manipulation. That's The Flatline with Rick Hughes, heard here every Sunday at 8:30 a.m. on the John Fredericks Radio Network. Washington is wasting $500 million every year on a federal supervision system that doesn't work. Probation officers are overwhelmed. Resources are going to people who pose zero threat, while actual dangerous individuals slip through the cracks. The Safer Supervision Act stops the waste and refocuses every dollar on protecting families from harm. President Trump's own pollster found about 80% of Trump voters want this fixed. It's time for Congress to get this done. Stop the waste. Protect our communities. Visit safersupervision.com. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
I am here because Washington needs fighters, and Graham Plattner is the fighter we need. You bet. I said to myself, that's my kind of man.
He's your Godzilla of the truth in America.
Run! It's Godzilla!
No gibberish or nonsense, just common sense. And now back to the John Fredericks Show.
Yeah, you're back. I'm your Godzilla of the truth in America. That's my kind of man. I still think of this clip. You know, if I'm her husband, what am I thinking here? Okay, my kind of man, let's see, beats up women, abuses them, allegedly, sexual assault. And hey, but that's my kind of guy. And but I'm your husband.
You bet.
So where do I fit in this pie here? Maybe I should slap you around a little bit, spice things up. I mean, I'm just asking a question. Inquiring minds want to know. First of all, the husband wouldn't have the beer with her when she popped that beer open. So I'd really like to be a fly on that wall. Like, excuse me, Beth. Maybe she calls her Beth. I don't know. Excuse me, Elizabeth. You see this Plattner's your man? Like, what can you kind of like what about this guy? Oh, he's really my kind of guy. He's my kind of man. Well, what am I? What am I, chopped liver? Well, we can spice things up a bit. I'm not going there. This is a family show. I'm just asking. This is a legitimate question. Okay, breaking news. We got McGuire coming up. We got Cassie Smedley. Breaking news, Dan. This just in. You ready, Dan? Breaking news.
Sock it to me. What's up?
Reports have it.
Okay.
That the Los Angeles Dodgers have acquired the Cincinnati Reds and assigned them to AAA. However, ownership of the Dodgers has rejected the AAA status and wants them assigned to Single A.
There we go.
They now own they have acquired the Cincinnati Reds.
You play to win the game. The Dodgers are playing to win the game.
I like turtles. Dan, I like turtles. I really do.
I like turtles.
I like turtles. Cincinnati Reds have been acquired by the Los Angeles Dodgers, and they've assigned them to Double-A.
Yeah. I'm amazed that the Pirates weren't the butt of that joke, to be quite honest. But maybe another year. Another year they would be.
Like they're wheeling and dealing. They're getting like.
In past years, I used to call the Pirates the best minor league team in the majors.
They're getting relief pitchers and stuff. Meantime,
how about that, Luke the Dream Weaver?
The Astros get. They trade Arrighetti, who has got potential. He's got potential. Right-handed pitcher, up and down. They trade him, and they said they need a left-handed bat, and we get a 243 hitter that's a rental from the Blue Jays. Like, wow. Oh, shiver me timbers. There's one. Now, hold on to your seatbelts. We got Dalton Varsho. He's hitting 243 with the Blue Jays.
That's my kind of man.
For Arrighetti. And then Arrighetti goes over, like they just changed dugouts. Like, because they were playing each other. And then Arrighetti, before he goes in the Blue Jays dugout, gets a haircut. Now, what is that about? Well, we're just wheeling and dealing, Astros. But we're still in first place, so screw all y'all. Okay, let's get, we got Cassie Smedley coming up. We got McGuire on.
We do, yeah. He's on line one.
Johnny McGuire out there campaigning. Today is primary day. John, how's it look? No, John.
We did have him. he decided.
John is gone.
He's gone.
I think the Dodgers acquired him.
That's right.
When I was in the Oval Office yesterday, this was another rumor. It's just a rumor, folks. It's just a rumor. But it was spreading around the Oval Office when I was in there yesterday asking my 5 questions. I shouldn't say that. I'll get everybody mad at me, but I did. This was just it's alleged that Benjamin Netanyahu has told President Trump that the Los Angeles Dodgers are 2 weeks away from getting a nuclear weapon. 2 weeks.
There you go. Hey, we're only 2 seconds away from getting John McGuire back on air. I think he's back on the line there, Jeff.
So what am I supposed to tell Cassie Smedley? She's chopped liver?
No, she's quite a lovely lady from what I can tell. I mean, I've never spoken with her before, but she's in the waiting room. She's smiling, I think.
What am I supposed to do with her? Like say, you're not important, and
she's very important. She's a classy lady.
She is important. I mean, she's not like Elizabeth Warren's husband.
No,
he's not important. He wouldn't even have the beard.
That's my kind of man.
All right, get John McGuire on so we can get.
He's on with us. Hey, Congressman.
Maybe we'll bring Smedley in. Bring Smedley
let's,
in.
Yeah, let's do it live.
Cassie Smedley in. Cassie Smedley. Now, Cassie was the former spokesperson for the Republican National Committee, which is a pretty cool title. And now she's running an organization now. You can follow her at CM Smedley, former RNC press secretary and Republican strategist.
Ooh.
We're going to need some Republican strategists ASAP. Cassie. Okay, Cassie, I'm going to get to McGuire because he's out campaigning. He's got a primary today in Virginia, 5th District. John, you're on with John and Cassie.
Good morning,
Cassie.
Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm chomping at the bit to win this primary today so we can go take out those communists. John, I heard what you said about New York, and it's right. I mean, I was talking to President Trump. I said, we got to pass this American Dream Act because young people are starting to like socialism. And I said, it's kind of hard to be a socialist if you own property. And President Trump said, you got that right because socialism and communism take your property, just like Mondami. And I know one thing, when the Berlin Wall went down, not one person ran over to the communist side. It's about tyranny and boot on your throat. So we got to win this primary and then help President Trump win the midterms.
How's your primary look?
I think it's good. I mean, it's very low turnout, but thank God President Trump made a video. We put it on TV. He's telling everybody to come out and vote for John McGuire. But it's, we don't normally have primaries in August because of that ridiculous redistricting fiasco where they tried to steal Virginia. So it's very low turnout. So anything you can do, John, to remind people to vote in the Republican primary in Virginia, they'd be helpful.
It's been a nondescript primary, John. I think you're in good shape. You got a bigger battle coming up though with Tom Perriello. He's going to be the Democratic nominee in the 5th. He represented the area before. He feigned as like a moderate, and he was for Second Amendment and this and that, and now he's like total commie like the others. Let's get to Cassie Smedley. Cassie, thanks for being with us today. I have a big footprint in Virginia. We've not really covered the Senate primary. It's kind of been a news fest. David Williams, Lisa Farrington, is that her name, John?
Kim
Farrington, met her at some event. Nice enough young lady. And David Williams and the general. But just not a lot of enthusiasm. Cassie, I think everybody was so fired up during the April thing. We almost defeated that up and up. Had we started a month earlier, that thing goes down. Give us the state of Virginia right now, Cassie, and the really lack of enthusiasm in the Virginia Senate primary, Cassie.
Yeah, well, good morning to all of you. And as the congressman was just saying, it's the story that's not today. We could have been talking about the redistricting debacle. We could have been facing a 10-1 map on it, our best day, with only one Republican having the chance of winning in Virginia. And that's not the case right now because Republicans fought. And you're right. It feels like it was a lifetime ago this past spring when we saw that there was still life in the Republican Party in Virginia. And by the way, outside of Fairfax County, that was the reason for the swell of enthusiasm was the flyover part of the state. I'm from flyover country, so I have great heart for that. And I'm here in Fairfax County now, and we saw what happened with Abigail Spanberger. Same kind of thing. We just didn't have the enthusiasm in November of 2025. Or what year are we in? On the Republican side, but we showed that it's there, and we have to galvanize around that. And I think we will, certainly heading into 2028, showing that Virginia is not a foregone conclusion for Democrats. It can still be a purple state, but we need help from the state party, of course, from the caucus, and from candidates as well. And I know Congressman McGuire doing his job, getting out there today, trying to rally the troops in today's primary. But Mark Warner in the Senate running unopposed on the Democrat side, they just are ushering him right through, and they're not concerned about his opponent. And we need to show that they should still be concerned and that we've got that enthusiasm like we found last spring.
Cassie, you nailed it. I thought when you look at that referendum in April, we had no business being that close.
Right.
We had no money. We started way late. The way it was worded, when we sanctioned a poll with Stephanie Bohaya, we had found out that 15% of Republicans had early voted in favor of the redistricting because they didn't understand the language. Mm-hmm. So you take that 15% out. If they vote for us, we win by 3. Here was the other thing: we won the game day vote, but which was expected, but we tied the early voting, and that's with 15% of our base voting for it because they didn't understand it.
Right.
That was in the polling in the survey that Stephanie did for us and Heritage Action. Then we tied on early voting, which means we're getting Virginia's Republicans out now to vote early. Mm-hmm. Where we got schmalshed was on mail-in ballots. We got beat by enormous numbers, like 10-1. It was like 90-10. I mean, you can't win when they have 90-10 mail-in ballots. And that's what defeated us. But how we started 2 weeks earlier and got more money, we would have defeated that straight up, Cassie.
Yeah, and if you recall, the money wasn't coming because people assumed it was a foregone conclusion.
Right.
Now, Monday morning quarterbacks would love to say, well, we knew it would have gotten thrown out in the court, so it wasn't worth investing. That was a lucky break, in my opinion, to be able to say that. Because they were coming because they just didn't think that Virginia still had the willpower. Virginia Republicans still had the willpower. And by the way, actually, I said Virginia Republicans, but it wasn't just Virginia Republicans. It was Virginians who didn't want to be completely crossed off the list and canceled out. There were a lot of independents. I'm in Fairfax County, but in a pretty mixed neighborhood so far as political affiliation, if one can exist out here. And even talking with my moderate neighbors who have Mark Warner signs in their yards, they were saying, this is outrageous. So there was an opportunity happening to really galvanize them. And we can do that again. That's what, yes, the national party, but certainly the state caucus really needs to focus on. The enthusiasm is there. The voters are there. The people moving into this area don't like what they're seeing from Abigail Spanberger and Democrats who just think that they are a foregone conclusion. So we shouldn't be overlooked and we shouldn't overlook ourselves, but we've got some work to do.
Let's get to John McGuire. John, you heard what Cassie said. I agree with her. You're out there campaigning. You're knocking on doors. You're the hardest working candidate in America, no doubt. When you're talking to constituents, what are they saying, John? What is on their mind, front and foremost?
Well, Americans and Virginians don't like to be told what to do. Mm-hmm. And we want to return to fairness. Trust has been destroyed all over the place over the last 4 years of the Biden administration, and we've got to restore that trust. That's why we have to pass the Save America Act. We've passed it 8 times out of the House, still dealing with the U.S. Senate. It's ridiculous. Even Democrats and independents say only American citizens should vote in U.S. elections, and you should have a voter ID. And by the way, to go to those communist government-run stores in New York that Mondami set up, you can't go in unless you have a photo ID. So, and like Trump said, anyone who doesn't want to have a photo ID wants to cheat. And I think you're right about you hit the nail on the head with the mail-in ballots. We've got to figure that out. But, you mentioned earlier Perriello. And by the way, he's just like Abigail Spanberger. People are really upset with Spanberger because she is the example of a bait and switch politician. She ran on affordability, and then as soon as the Democrats got power in Richmond, they proposed over 50 new taxes. And I've talked to a lot of Democrats on the streets, independents and Republicans. They all remember that. I said, hey, did you know that they proposed over 50 new taxes? 100% of every Democrat I've spoken to says, yes, we're aware of that, and they're not happy about it. And she gave themselves a 300% pay raise. So she did run on affordability, just not for we the people, but for them. And I see Perriello the same way. When he was in the Congress, when he first ran in Congress, he said he was pro-gun, pro-life. And then when he primaried Northam for governor, he apologized for saying he was pro-life, and he said NRA is a bunch of gun nuts. So he's a flip-flopper, bait-and-switch kind of guy. And he was the president of the Open Society under George Soros, which is their whole thing is open borders, weaponizing immigration against countries around the world, including the U.S. I don't think that's going to fly in the 5th Congressional District.
Cassie, what's your assessment here? I think John's in pretty good shape. Obviously, he's got to run through the tape. Perriello is going to be well-funded. But we got two races that are going to really determine the House, in my judgment. One is in the 2nd District, Jen Kiggins, and then Rob Whitman. They redistricted him a little bit. He's having a little bit of a tougher race than he's had in the past, and he's got a pretty legitimate opponent. So I think Whitman will win, but that's going to be closer. Give me your assessment of Virginia 2, Virginia 1, and Virginia 5.
Yeah, well, the good news about both Kiggins and Whitman is that they aren't afraid of a fight. They've got a good team around them. They know how to win these close elections, whether President Trump is on the ballot or not. So that's they can appreciate his support, but also not relying on his coattails. So I'm with you. I think they will be good. They're not on my top list of people I'm looking at across the country this November, but it all comes down to what is the national narrative? I know we say all politics are local, but what's happening on the left with the DSA is now seeping into all of our backyards. This is no longer the Mamdani, New York. And I love that the congressman pointed out, you need your ID to get into one of these communist government run grocery stores, but how dare you ask for an ID at a voting booth? Even though on a bad day, more than 80% of Americans thinks that's a totally reasonable thing to ask for. And we've got to be the party of reasonable. We've got to be the party of normal. They are the party of crazy. And people know that. People see that, they hear that and say, what on earth is going on? Now, the trick is, and as the congressman just pointed out, they're running a lot of wolves in sheep's clothes. It's one thing to run against an avowed DSA socialist candidate. It's another thing to run against someone like an Abigail Spanberger who says, I'm a moderate, I'm a mom, I care about the military. And then at the first chance, jumps to raise our taxes, jumps to defund our police, jumps to let illegals come into our country and use all of our tax resources to their benefit at the detriment of our own. That's the playbook across the board. And that's what the focus really needs to be on. As we say, Virginia is not a lost cause. We've got really good candidates and we've shown that we know how to fight. But we've got our work cut out for us because the Democrats have really mastered this wolves in sheep's clothes game. That's what I'm most concerned about across the country.
You know, you look at some of these candidates, Cassie, on the, I guess they call them DSA, right? Basically, it's Communist Party USA. You can go back to the days of Gus Hall before you were way before your time. He was the perennial candidate for Communist Party USA. It's the same thing. But it's one thing, New York, Philadelphia, LA, Minneapolis, like, okay, we get it, Seattle. The governor, the gubernatorial frontrunner who was going to win because her opponent dropped out for the governorship in Wisconsin,
yes,
is a completely off the rails, crazy, racist, hates whites, hates everything. She is going to be the Democratic nominee for Wisconsin, and she's basically saying that that tipping is racist, based in white supremacy. Okay, so I don't know how she figures that. She also just, we played a clip earlier. She's Korean, married to a white guy, and said she's basically ashamed of her proximity to whiteness. And she has a son who's half white. Like, these are the people they're putting up to be the Democratic candidate in Wisconsin. This is not New York City or Philadelphia. It's Wisconsin. Cassie, they're nuts.
They're not, and I have a lot of great love for Wisconsin. I worked for Sean Duffy for years, and then I married a northern Wisconsinite. And here's what's so interesting about it. In Wisconsin writ large, people say, well, that's just Madison. That's just, which is, the liberal bastion, used to be one of the most liberal places in the country, although it's really got competition these days. But, that's just in Madison. That'll never make it out here. And then what happens is one by one, the more pragmatic liberals got out of the race. And the person that they thought, she'll never have a chance, comes through. And now people with their Trump derangement syndrome are actually considering voting for her and all of her crazy positions, all of the DSA's crazy positions, because they want to stick it to Trump. And that's what doesn't compute to me. And by the way, let's talk about our education system, that we have all of these young people who are so miswired in the head to not be able to figure out that that's bad for them. That's bad for their future. That's bad for their American dream and their ability to buy a house and have a good paying job and provide for their family. Totally at odds with everything the DSA stands for. But again, I always say it's like in grade school with student council election, you had the kid who's saying, I want to make real reforms. And you had the kid who said, I'm just going to give everybody free pizza in the lunchroom every day. And then he gets elected and the school says, well, you can have pizza, but it'll cost you $5 every day. And like, wait a minute. That's what I equate this to, except it's high stakes, serious stuff. And because the Democrats are absolutely cowing to the DSA, because that's their base now. And you can't win if you can't turn out your base. Now we're getting stuck with some really hard, serious decisions to make. And I hope that these voters, again, don't let their Trump derangement get in the way of ushering in a really dangerous candidate. And I just have to say really quick, and I know this, I was just in Israel a couple weeks ago, and I went to Yad Vashem, and you talk about all the propaganda. That's the Holocaust Memorial. All the propaganda leading up to how does this happen? How did we get here? How did people turn a blind eye? The slogans are the same. Think about that. This is the same playbook. I hope not with the same results, but they didn't just come up with this out of nowhere. This is the Marxist communist playbook, and we have to be very careful and tread very lightly at the voting booth.
Not only that, I think it was the 1938 election, or no, not 38, 34 election, 16% of Jews voted for the National Socialist Party.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you look at the number of Jews who voted for Mandami, you got the same thing going on in New York City. But this lady, Francesca Hong, I gotta hand it to her, okay? She's not hiding from her positions, right? She basically annihilated the field. I mean, the lieutenant governor, everybody thought that guy would easily beat her.
Right.
He had to drop out. He had no money. Same thing went on in Maine. She has no opposition to speak of, but she's not hiding her positions.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's like, white people bad, white supremacy bad, tipping bad. Everybody should get a universal income in Wisconsin. We got to tax more people. I mean, she's not holding anything back.
Right. That's right.
It's pretty incredible.
She's telling you what she'll do.
It's incredible. This is the gubernatorial candidate for Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, are you kidding me?
I know. We've got a good opportunity with Tom Tiffany running on the Republican side. We need to galvanize around him. He needs to start pushing this back. But at the moment, he's telling you who she is. Believe her. Don't vote for her.
People are nuts, man. But hey, they're winning elections, so you can't take this thing lightly. McGuire, people want to reach you, follow you, Johnny McGuire. Where do they go?
Yeah, check out our website. It's McGuireVA.com, McGuireVA.com. I'm the first Republican endorsed for re-election this cycle by President Trump. They told me not to put a Trump flag on my pickup truck, so I put 2 Trump flags on my pickup truck. Let's go save America.
All right, John, thank you. Cassie Smedley, it's great to have you on again.
Thank you for having me. Great to be with you. Go vote.
People want to follow you, Cassie. What do they do?
PM Smedley on all handles. Would love to see you and chat with you there.
All right. Jesse, thanks for your time today. Appreciate it. West Virginia Mavericks coming up. We got Larry Pack. We've got Brendan Carr. All coming up right here on the John Fredericks Media Network.
Attacks targeted over 30 water systems in Minnesota. The source of the attacks is being investigated, but they came amid warnings that Iranian hackers have been focused on such systems. Minnesota IT Services said Thursday that the investigation into the attacks that happened on Sunday and Monday was continuing, and that state officials had not identified who was behind them. There were no reports that residents have been impacted by the attacks. Keith Peters reporting.
Crews continue battling massive wildfires that have destroyed hundreds of homes, forcing tens of thousands of evacuations in Spokane, Washington. Authorities say one of the fires, the work of an arsonist, and a 37-year-old man is under arrest being held on $1 million bond. A Democratic U.S. Senate contest in Michigan is among the most closely followed of today's primaries, pitting a Democrat socialist against an establishment candidate.
Political observers closely watching this race between Democrat socialist Abdul El Sayed and establishment candidate Congresswoman Haley Stevens. The Real Clear Politics average of polls finds El Sayed beating Stevens by more than 10 points. New polling data from Epic MRA shows former Congressman Republican Mike Rogers beating El Sayed by 3 points in a hypothetical matchup in November. Laura Winters reporting.
President Trump insisting it's Iran's last chance to stave off a devastating military campaign by the U.S. Mr. Trump says negotiations with Tehran have resumed. Iran says no, they haven't. On Wall Street, Dow futures are up 656 points. Townhall.com.
The following is a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
When I was feeling the stress of too much credit card debt, I looked at two different options: debt settlement and debt management. They may sound the same, but guess what? They're not. Debt settlement seemed like a quick fix, but I found out it would destroy my credit, create tax headaches, and hit me with huge fees. They actually told me to stop paying my bills. No way, not me. Then I turned to a debt management plan developed by the team at Trinity. They worked with my creditors, lowered my payments, reduced my interest, saved me thousands, and paid off my debt. And Trinity is a Christian company, which is important to me.
If credit card debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
My name is Heather. Please forget debt settlement and remember Trinity Debt Management.
1-800-990-6976.
Another round of Lebanon peace talks is underway.
Lebanese and Israeli negotiators are here inside the U.S. Embassy in Rome for the 7th round of negotiations on a ceasefire agreement for Lebanon. This was an agreement that was reached in June, but still has a long way to go. As part of the agreement, Israel would withdraw from land in southern Lebanon. The Lebanese military would take over and would disarm Hezbollah. Hezbollah is the Iranian-backed militia that operates in southern Lebanon.
That's correspondent Tricia Thomas. Authorities in Guatemala have ordered evacuations around the Fuego volcano, which is now erupting. The Guatemalan Disaster Agency confirms the eruption started yesterday morning and then intensified throughout the day. This has led to the evacuation orders for 2 nearby villages. News and analysis at townhall.com. Several states upset over revamped tariffs are taking the Trump administration to court.
25 states are joining a lawsuit suing the Trump administration over the latest round of double-digit tariffs. They say the basis, that countries had not done enough to crack down on imports produced by illegal forced labor, is a pretext. New York Attorney General Letitia James says after losing at the Supreme Court, the administration is once again trying to illegally raise taxes on families and businesses with a new round of tariffs. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro says the president's tariffs have injected unnecessary chaos and confusion into residents' lives and raised prices across the board. I'm Jennifer King.
Customs and Border Protection ordering construction crews working on the border wall to stop drilling wells in drought-stricken New Mexico. Ordering a halt after ranchers complained that pumping the groundwater needed to mix cement could deprive their livestock of life-sustaining water. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation.
Washington is wasting $500 million every year on a federal supervision system that doesn't work. Probation officers are overwhelmed. Resources are going to people who pose zero threat, while actual dangerous individuals slip through the cracks. The Safer Supervision Act stops the waste and refocuses every dollar on protecting families from harm. President Trump's own pollster found about 80% of Trump voters want this fixed. It's time for Congress to get this done. Stop the waste. Protect our communities. Visit safersupervision.com. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
And they're off. This summer, the Thunder returns to Colonial Downs Racetrack. Live thoroughbred racing June 25th through September 7th. Feel the excitement. Hear the roar of the crowd. Experience Virginia's premier horse racing destination every Thursday through Sunday all summer long. Bring the whole family for Family Fun Sundays, packed with activities for all ages. Parking? Free. General admission? Free. Memories? Priceless. Make Colonial Downs Racetrack your new summer fun time tradition. Get tickets and race day info now at colonialdowns.com.
The Cats and Cosby Show.
It's the top news of the day.
People are out there saying, the Iranians are never going to live by it. But let me tell you something. President Trump is going to bomb them again if they screw around.
Hopefully they live up to it. And if not, the pounding's coming. We're going to do it again and again and again.
The Cats and Cosby Show, weekdays 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the stations of the John Fredericks Media Network.
Trump is the toughest president we ever had.
Well, he's definitely the best bomber.
At the end of the day, I don't care.
That's Andy Ogles.
I'm an economist, former member of law enforcement. I work for you traffic.
After lying about his resume,
I don't recall ever saying I had economic degree.
the local sheriff said Ogles lied about his work in child sex trafficking, and his phone was even seized by the FBI, and he's still under investigation. After all the lying, what's Andy's message to Tennessee families?
Hey, I don't care.
Paid for by Invest in Tomorrow Coalition PAC. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cell's Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Right now, download the new WV Sports Nation app from the Apple Store or Google Play and get the entire Mountaineer sports world in the palm of your hand. Right now, get notified when new stories drop about your favorite Mountaineers teams and athletes. Download the WV Sports Nation app right now. Get updates on next level Mountaineers like Weatherholt and Joe Mazzulla. All that and more right in your pocket right now. Download the new WV Sports Nation app from the Apple Store or Google Play. Download the app right now.
Live from the studios of the John Fredericks Media Network, it's the John Fredericks Show. Grab yourself a cup of 1775 coffee, sit back, and get ready for the best 4 hours of talk in the universe. To be part of the show, just call our toll-free number, 888-480-5646. And now, here's the Godzilla of Truth, the Oracle of the Deplorables, the man who trucks the truth from coast to coast, John Fredericks.
Great to have you back. Time for West Virginia. Mountaineers don't want to waste this time. We got the Mavericks coming up. We're going to West Virginia where we got a lot of fireworks going on. But first, don't forget, anything in West Virginia you want to know about West Virginia University athletics, you got one place to go. WV Sports Nation. Go to WVSportsNation.com. Dan, WVSportsNation.com. You got an app there. You want to download that app. Google Play. If you have a non-Apple device, right? I don't know who has those, but if you do, you want to go to Google Play. If you have an Apple device like me, I got apples all over the place. Then you want to go to the App Store. You're good to go. Go to the App Store. Just put in WV Sports Nation. Your app comes up. WV Sports Nation's the coolest app out there. We get up about 5 stories a day. I got a bunch of writers. And that is now the dominant website, the dominant news and information sports website in West Virginia about WV athletics, and nothing else, folks, is even close. Closest thing to it has about 1/4 of our daily page views. So that thing has exploded. The app has made it go. So we're very excited about that. And don't forget, new programming, well, starting on August 28th, the West Virginia Mountaineer pregame football show, the Mountaineer Tailgate Show. This is the pregame show for the people, hosted by Mitch Rogers, and that is going to be 2 hours before every single West Virginia University game. That's also going to be co-hosted by Chris Rose, state senator, and others. And Mike Oliverio is going to be on it, and I'm sure we'll have Mike Benton on it. We'll have Gino on it. Everybody's going to be on it. Everybody wants in. Larry Pack wants in. This is going to be 2 hours before each game across our network and our app live, and also on all of our apps in West Virginia and Pittsburgh. The West Virginia Mountaineer Football Tailgate Show, hosted by Mitch Rogers and State Senator Chris Rose. That's actually going to debut, Dan, on August 28th, before the first home game for the Mountaineers. That Big 12 season opens, and I think the game's at noon, so it's going to start at 10, so it'll take an hour of Godzilla wins. We're good to go. So everybody looking forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun, so don't miss that with Mitch Rogers and his team. All good, and that's coming up. Meantime, let's get to West Virginia Mavericks, and let's bring in the gang. And we got a little fireworks going on. We've got my man Gino Chiarelli, House of Delegates member in Morgantown. Thanks for being with us. We've got my favorite state senator in the history of all state senators, Mike Oliverio. Also, I'm his constituent. Mike, thanks for doing all you do for us. Also in Morgantown. And we've got Larry Pack, state treasurer, also Republican National Committee man, who I will see in Dallas, Larry.
I'm excited. Ready to go.
I'm going with the Virginia delegation. That's for another day and another story, because Patrick Merrick kicked me and Ann out of the party because we won our race for Ward 2 chairman and defeated his candidate, crushed him, and so he kicked us out of the party. So we got to go with the Virginia delegation. Thank you, Chairman Jeff Ryer, for having me and Ann. We're so grateful. Thank you. Also be there on Media Row, and I'm sure Larry will make his way down to be a guest, so we can't wait for that. Meantime, guys, we got a little fireworks going on. So, okay, I'll just lay it out, and I got to put my glasses on for this one. Get your popcorn, folks, ready. So Governor Patrick Morrisey and his communications director, Lars Dalsdale, who I deal with on occasion, released the following statement on temporary assistance for needy families, funding, and the administration's ongoing review of TANF, which is the acronym for that, funded programs. And he said that West Virginia was paying too much at $6.47 per resident. And then Larry Pack fired back on X. And I should probably put this up. I'll send it to you in a minute, Dan. But he fires back. He says, the governor can cast all the stones he wants to put blame elsewhere, but at the end of the day, this is his administration. He has the opportunity to make needy children a priority. So do it. We will never stop fighting for supporting children and families who need it most. Larry Pack, let's start with you. You got into it with the governor, then Lars, who's basically new in this job. He actually, when I first had the governor on, didn't even know who my panel was. So he's new. So I grant him that. Everybody has a learning curve. But he fired back. But you basically took it right to the governor here, Mr. State Treasurer Larry Pack. Tell us your thinking and why this got you so riled up.
Okay, great. Yeah, and we're glad to have Lars in West Virginia. I think he's doing a good job, and it's always good to have folks move to West Virginia without a doubt. Really, I think this is something I've been following for, I guess, a couple of months. I think back in May, the governor or one of his team during a press conference mentioned that hey, there might be a problem with the TANF funding or the TANF account. Again, that's temporary assistance for needy families. So these are not people that have been on this program forever and ever. These are just temporary folks. But anyway, he said there might be a problem with it, and then we didn't hear anything for a while, right? And so you get to July 1 when the portal is supposed to be open. People should be able to apply for these clothing vouchers. And again, the clothing vouchers are basically something West Virginia's done for, I guess, about 50 years, and it's $200 a child. And the idea is that for children who find themselves in a family that can't afford to buy them a new set of clothes for school, they can get a new set of clothes. They can get some jeans, a couple shirts, maybe some shoes, and look like the other kids on the first day of school. That's what it's all about. But anyway, governor made a mention, or one of his team made a mention in May. Don't hear anything until you get to July. 1st July, people start noticing, hey, the applications, they're not receiving applications. What's going on? Finally, 10, 15 days later, or maybe even 20 days later, they open up the applications. It goes for about a week, and then they close down the applications. And I think that's the part that aggravated me the most, where I decided, hey, someone's got to speak out about this. When we're managing a program and we're managing a budget, you plan, you communicate, you give people plenty of time to adjust when you're making changes, but you don't make the changes, you don't change the rules in the middle of the game. And so, if a needy family, just life was going on for that 5 days it was open, we've just had floods in West Virginia, or maybe they had a child that was sick, and they just didn't get around to it in those 5 days. They lost their $200, but they had planned on getting that $200 because we've been doing it for 50 years. So I think there's really two parts, and part of it is just changing in the middle of games, not properly communicating to the most needy people, and of course the people that get hurt are the kids. That really aggravated me. But again, if you want to make an adjustment to the program, we've got a system for that. After Labor Day, we start working on the budget for the next fiscal year. Legislature comes in, in the winter. They work on it for 60 days. We pass a budget. We talk about all these issues, and everybody weighs in, and eventually we get finished. We have a budget. And then if there's changes next July 1, so you got 4 months, you communicate what those changes are. None of that happened. And again, it's not like the administration just showed up yesterday and started working, or started in May. When he got to May, for 24 months, they knew they were going to be governors, right? They've been in office for 18 months. They just really need to make sure that they're ready to work, they do the right things. And again, if they find a mistake that their administration don't take it out on the kids. So yeah, I agree. I got a little aggravated, but I'm very pro-family. I'm very pro-children, and particularly children in need. And we're working on We're a very pro-family value state. We want our young families to have more children. We're doing everything we can to encourage children. I think this really goes the other direction.
So, Larry, immediately after you put that out, Lars Dasdale, the governor's spokesperson, fired back and said you were basically full of crap and it was political positioning and you want to run for governor. What is your response for that?
It's never a bad idea to advocate for kids. So I don't understand why this has nothing to do with what may or may not happen in 28. This is about today. It's about these children today. It's about these families today. It sounds to me like maybe we have $1 million shortfall for this run for clothing vouchers. We the administration a few months ago, they announced a $370 million surplus for last fiscal year. Yesterday they announced a $10 million surplus for the month of July. So it's not about money. It's really about priorities, and I absolutely disagree with the priorities of this administration when it comes to children.
Okay, we've got FCC Chairman Brendan Carr on the line. He's going to be with us in one moment. Just hang on for one minute, Chairman Carr, and we'll bring you in. But I want to get to Senator Oliverio here. I mean, Morrissey was kind of pissed off at this whole thing. That's why they fired back. I get what Larry's saying. This probably should have been done earlier, is what his point is. Mike, where do you weigh in on this? And then I'll get to the FCC chairman. Go ahead, Mike.
You know, I was quoted in newspapers all across West Virginia this weekend, and my response was simple. I was disappointed when they delayed the start date. I was even more disappointed when they paused it. And the reality is, this is for those most needy children. And one thing that's a little bit tricky, and I've been around the budget process for a long time, is the month of July starts a new fiscal year. And sometimes there are some cash management issues during that first month of the fiscal year, even the first few days of the fiscal year. But we have empowered the governor's administration with tools to deal with that. We've allowed them to make temporary lending through the investment management board and deal with any kind of shortfalls like that. Also, as Treasurer Pack mentioned, we have significant surpluses that if the governor needs to come to the legislature for some additional support for this, we're willing to do that. But this is a program that's been around for decades. It's not a lot of money. Whenever you deny these needy families money this month, you deny them the ability to use those dollars during the sales tax holiday, when their dollars can go even further because they're not paying the state sales tax during those first few days of August. So it's kind of a small, but it's a double whammy on these families that you didn't give them the money that was promised, and because they didn't have the money when it was promised, they couldn't spend it during the most advantageous time for their children.
Very compelling argument. Guys, I'm going to ask you all to hang on a second. We've got to get Chairman of the Federal Communications Commission, Brendan Carr, on by phone. He had a little tight time frame to get with us. So look, he's happy to be on with the West Virginia panel here for a second. Chairman Carr, you're on with State Senator Mike Oliverio, Republican from West Virginia, Larry Peck, State Treasurer, Republican, Gino Chiarelli, my delegate representative in Morgantown, also with us. And Chairman, thanks for being with us today for a couple.
So good to be with you. Really appreciate it. Always love your show. And actually, I love the West Virginia panel. You got some great representatives there. And so it's good to be with you all.
So, Chairman, without a doubt, you're my favorite chairman in history. All you've done has been amazing. The abuse that you get every time you get the abuse on the left is because you're doing the right things. That's basically what you've done. And I want to get into you have blocked new foreign-made power inverters and advanced robots over national security risks. This was on Fox. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, thanks so much. Look, we're running a super aggressive policy agenda right now at the FCC, including on national security. When I started, we stood up a new council on national security, and we've been taking a series of steps. We banned all foreign-produced drones at the end of last year. We took action recently, as you noted, on power inverters, which is a significant piece of infrastructure equipment that's vital to our energy security. And we also put on our covered list advanced robotics. So those, advanced quadrupeds, or robot dogs, as some people call them, and the humanoid robots. Ultimately, the executive branch determined that those devices are going to be key pieces of national security and economic security. And we're getting ahead of the curve. President Trump has made clear that we don't want to be in a situation 5 years from now where access to that type of supply chain technology is vital, and we haven't developed a domestic production spot. So we're prohibiting foreign produced, and we are encouraging massive new investment in domestic production facilities.
I think that it's absolutely makes sense, and it's visionary the way you're handling that. So I appreciate it. Another thing you're doing that actually is going to affect many residents of West Virginia is direct to connectivity, which is going to give a lot of people the opportunity in rural areas to have more direct access to information, high-speed internet. Tell us a little about that, Mr. Chairman.
President Trump came out of the box and he said that he wanted to lead the world again in next generation technology. And now the administration is delivering on that. We are on the cusp of a very significant change in connectivity for several reasons. One, we obviously have this multi-billion-dollar infrastructure deployment program, BEAD, that is finally getting rolled out after years of delays during the Biden years. We are putting more spectrum into the marketplace at the FCC. We're moving at a pace that hasn't been seen in many, many years, at least since the last Trump administration, in terms of getting hundreds of megahertz of spectrum, which is going to increase your 4G or 5G or 6G speeds. But to your point, there's this new technology called direct-to-cell, where you go straight from your smartphone directly to a satellite. You don't need one of those standalone Starlink or other dishes. And so think about that as a game changer in terms of universal connectivity, real internet right to your phone, no more dead zones. And President Trump wanted us to be first out of the gate as a country, and now we are. We've freed up the spectrum for that. There's additional spectrum coming. We're starting to see some of the first applications of that, but it hasn't fully rolled out yet, but it's going to pretty soon here, and we're going to be at the forefront of it.
I want to get one of my panelists to jump in because the direct connectivity is satellite. There are so many rural areas, gentlemen, in West Virginia that we cover when I drive around the state where I have to have a sat phone because I have no bars. I mean, there is nothing there. How is this going to affect your ability? Anybody can weigh in on the panel. How is this going to affect your state residents' ability to connect, get more information, impact education? What would be the impact of it? And anybody jump in.
I'll jump in on this one. I think that this is a huge deal for West Virginia. I went to Portugal last year with a number of members from the legislature. We went to the Web Summit. It was a high-tech AI conference. We were looking for ideas and things that we potentially wanted to try and bring back to West Virginia. And one of the biggest things that we focused on here in West Virginia over the last number of years is connectivity. And that's through any means possible. One of the biggest things that I think came out of Starlink is increasing accessibility for people in West Virginia. Even right here in Monongalia County, which people think of as, growth county, this is a more populated area. There's still parts of our county that didn't have access. And we always knew that we needed this, but when we really realized that we needed this was during COVID. When kids were having to drive to the parking lot of schools, they're setting up mobile Wi-Fi spots to get kids to have access. Anything that we could do to promote this kind of direct connectivity, anything that we could do to technologically advance West Virginia is a huge, huge deal. So I'm thrilled to hear the chairman of the FCC is working on this.
Brendan? Yep. Mr.
Yeah, we're super.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, the FCC, again, we are laser focused on this, and we're getting to the point where you can start to see the end of the digital divide. We're not there yet. We're not raising the mission accomplished flag, but just look at the last year and a half. Prices, for instance, for cell phone plans are down almost 10% just since President Trump's inauguration. Internet speeds are up 50%. And then when you start pouring on these additional new technologies, whether it's this direct to cell, or we now have this technology called fixed wireless, where you can go straight from a cell site to your home and get fiber-like, cable-like speed. So we're not there yet, but we now have the pieces in place to see a future where we can really claim that the end of the digital divide is getting pretty close.
Mr. Chairman, two more quick things. I'm going to get back to our panel. One is you were very upset that several TV networks, major national TV networks, didn't cover the president's primetime address because they didn't like the message or what it was going to say. And you have not been shy about questioning the status of their FCC license. Ann and I own 24 radio signals. We have 24 FCC licenses. We take the responsibility of that very seriously. An FCC license is a privilege. It's not a right. You have to earn it. You have to follow the rules. They did not follow the rules, and they basically snubbed their nose at the entire process. What is your reaction to that, and what will happen next, sir?
Well, I wish more broadcasters took the approach that you do. What we're seeing, unfortunately, is a lot of broadcasters, particularly on the TV side, that got their valuable spectrum worth billions and billions of dollars entirely for free. They have government-subsidized distribution because their spectrum they didn't have to pay for originally. And you're right, they have special obligations to operate in the public interest, not a narrow partisan interest. Look, it's not cable, it's not podcast. It's something that's supposed to be different. But a lot of TV broadcasters in particular over the years have decided they don't want to live up to their end of the bargain. They want the free spectrum still, but they don't want to operate in the public interest. And we've been telling folks that that's not how things should operate around here. And there's a point at which you start to lose that support that you have for the free spectrum. Just look at NPR and PBS. The Congress got tired of NPR, PBS not keeping the ball between the 40-yard lines with respect to their coverage, and Congress decided to defund NPR and PBS. And well, to some extent, there's a similar funding taking place right now on the TV side when you look at how much of a taxpayer subsidy they get for that free access to spectrum. So they should have many, many reasons why they want to operate in the public interest, and we'll see whether they decide to do it or not.
Okay, final thing, Mr. Chairman, your top number one objective over the next 3 months, what is it?
Well, to finish the job of closing the digital divide, we want every American to have some choice for high-speed, affordable connectivity, and we're really setting the country up to deliver on that, and that's probably the most important thing we're doing at the FCC.
If we elect a Republican in 2028, are you able to stay on as chairman for a second term? How does that work? Or would you be willing to do that?
Well, I've been here since 2012, so I think I'm getting a little long in the tooth for serving at the FCC. The FCC commissioners and chairs serve 5-year terms, and so my term runs all the way through this administration, and any commissioner or chair can always be renominated by a president. Again, there's no limit on the number of 5-year terms that you can run, so we'll take it day by day at this point.
Well, we want you to stay there. You've certainly turned it around. Obviously, Ann and I are involved in it every day, so we get a bird's eye view of what you're doing and the revitalization of the FCC, the streamlining of it. I mean, I told you when I came in, we would try to buy a station, and under the Biden leadership, it would take 6 months to get a simple station bought. Now it's 6 weeks. So you guys have done a super job. Anytime we have something, the FCC staff gets it back to us immediately. You put a super staff together, and I got to give a shout out to your comms director, chief of staff, Adam Jackman, super guy, great to work with, super responsive, and we enjoy working with the FCC. And we thank you, sir, for all you're doing and all you've done, and especially standing up to the heat there. Thank you.
Hey, John, I'd like to add one more point too. I want to thank the chairman for his work. Back when the 5G issue was coming out, and Senator John Kennedy from Louisiana was raising a lot of issues about the foreign ownership of the spectrum, and the way the FCC handled that, I think, was a really progressive, positive step that protected, as a nation, our interests, and I just wanted to commend him for that.
Lowry?
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you. That's great.
Chairman, I can't thank you enough for what you're doing, not just for the country, but also what you're doing for West Virginia. It's just amazing the changes that we've seen in the last 18, 20 months during the Trump administration. You on the front lines, and like I say, everything you're doing is really, really helping West Virginia, particularly the connectivity. So I really thank you so much. John, I'm going to have to jump off. I really appreciate the opportunity. Hope you guys have a great day, and we'll talk soon. But thanks to each and every one of you. Appreciate it.
All right. Lowry Pack, State Treasurer, West Virginia, thanks for being with us. Chairman Brendan Carr, I know you're out of time too. I want to respect that. And thank you for being with us, Chairman. Always good to have you on, and keep holding these feet to the fire. I mean, the fact that 2 major networks, or 3, I think, wouldn't cover the president's national address. And it doesn't matter that it was covered on the internet or other stations covered it. I mean, never in my lifetime did I think that would happen, because they got a draft of what he was going to say and didn't like it, so they decided not to cover it. What if right in the middle of that, he was making a major announcement on a war or something? I mean, what? They're not covering it? I mean, it's insane. That's ridiculous. So, all right. Mr. Chairman, thank you. Thank you for being with us. All right, let's get back to our...
Thanks. Good to be with you. Thanks.
All right, Mr. Chairman, thank you. All right, let's get back to our panel here. So this rift here going on between Treasurer Pack, Governor Morrissey, the back and forth. Gino, weigh in.
I think that, well, Larry brought this up earlier. I think this is one of the problems that we're having, and it seems like it's more of a feature than a bug at this point. I feel like we're struggling with consistent or open lines of communication, and we've seen this since the very beginning. When Governor Morrissey took over, he announced this huge structural deficit, and then next thing you know, we're turning around. All of a sudden, we don't have a deficit, and we're asking for 10% tax cuts. It's the same thing that's happened here, announcing that there's some sort of potential deficit in the TANF program. Well, now we're announcing that we have a surplus revenue that's much, much larger than the shortage that we're allegedly seeing for TANF. So I wish we could have a little bit more of a back and forth, so that way we can solve these issues and nobody has to miss the window to apply for TANF so they can hit the tax-free weekend. It's just frustrating. I think that those are the kinds of things that we need to work out, because ultimately it doesn't matter what problems that we have to deal with. It's kids that can't afford shoes that are the ones that are facing this issue. They're the ones that have to pick up the pieces, those families, especially in the wake of all of the disasters and flooding.
Well, Gino, to the senator's point earlier, why would you carve something out that would miss the tax-free holiday when you don't have any money to buy clothes? Like, why would you do that? Like, either this wasn't thought through or the governor had a different plan. But it's like, of all the things you're going to cut, it just didn't make sense to me.
The governor's statement kind of began by comparing how the program differs in other states. And those are worthy discussions, but they're not discussions to be held while the program's supposed to be executed. Those are what we would call off-season discussions. This is the season. We have a plan in place. The legislature funded it. The administration's supposed to execute it. And then right in the middle of that, you say, well, Kentucky does this differently. No, that's not what the executive branch is supposed to do. If they want to have that discussion with us later in the fall or during the legislative session, that's more timely, more appropriate. But at this point, we provided the funding, execute on the funding. If you run into a shortfall, there are cash management tools available to the administration. If they don't want to use those tools and they want to come to us for additional money, that's certainly something they can do or try to do. But anyway, it was just disappointing. And some folks, I'm not a critic of the governor. I want the governor to be successful. I mean, he will be our governor for 2.5 more years, and I want him to be successful. I want our state to grow and develop, achieve every possible goal that we can have. But I think when he does things like this, he just brings such criticism on his administration. He undermines the trust of the people. And so, you set up an opportunity where those who are critics of the governor can say things like, hey, you had $2 million for a Ferris wheel on the 4th of July, but you can't fund needy children clothes and shoes. And so you just set up those types of criticisms, and then it makes it hard for us that are trying to defend our party, defend our goals and objectives. It makes it hard for us to defend against things like that.
I don't know that there's even a response to that, Gino. If you look at what the senator said, look, I went to the fair multiple times. It's 2-3 blocks from where I live. And yes, the Ferris wheel was cool. And the West Virginia thing was cool. And there were long lines to get on it. But it did cost $2 million. And you certainly didn't need it. And when people need a pair of jeans and a pair of socks and a pair of shoes to go to school, that's a tough argument, Gino, to reconcile.
Yeah, I think that Senator Oliverio is exactly correct. I don't think that anybody with any integrity wants Patrick Morrissey to do poorly as governor. Everybody with any honesty in their body wants him to succeed, because that there's no reason why we all shouldn't want our state to move forward. We're a small state. We don't have access to all of the resources in the world. We have to make sure our priorities are correct. I think with proper management, with the right people in charge, with the right people on the levers, that we can do it all. I think that we can accomplish all of our goals, all of our wants, all of our needs. We just have to be good stewards of what we have. the back and forth between one day we have a deficit in some program, the next day we're declaring, surpluses. It's just inconsistent, and I think it leads to a lot of consternation. It's
What I
a lot
don't understand, what I don't understand is, and I know Pat got to go, but like he's the treasurer. He's the treasurer. So he knows if there's money or not. This is what I don't understand. I mean, I just had the same conversation Monday with my Pennsylvania group. It's like Stacey Garrity's running for governor. She's the treasurer. And she said, I don't care what Shapiro says, I'm the treasurer. Like, I know where every dime is going because that's my job. So you can't be disputing me because, like, I control every dime that comes in and out of this place. Guy's a treasurer, so he should know where the money is, and he does. And so for the life of me, like, why would you pick this fight over clothing before school for the poor and disadvantaged in West Virginia? Why would you do that? Like, what is the political upside here? It's zero.
I don't know if there is a political error. If there is some sort of grand plan, I'm certainly not keyed into it. I don't know if Senator Oliverio is, and this is why I go back to just wishing that we had a better line of communication, because I think it would ultimately result in a better outcome.
What is the genesis? Because I've heard this now, and look, you guys both know I'm a supporter of the governor, right? And I like Patrick, and I like Denise, friends of theirs, supported him for everything he's done. But I've heard this now from too many people, that the lack of communication between the governor's office and the General Assembly is massive, and it just seems to be rampant, and it never goes away. What is the genesis of that?
Oh, I can't speak entirely for that, other than to say that, governors in the past in West Virginia have maybe sometimes put a thumb on the scale during elections, trying to influence things a little bit. Whereas this governor put a whole fist on the scale and tried to take out finance chairman and other key positions in the legislature. And, the Speaker of the House at the time said, hey, we're going to remember this. And so, I think that's probably contributing to the problem when you target sitting legislators like that. I know Patrick has some specific goals. He wants to really drive down and potentially eliminate West Virginia's personal income tax. And so I think, in his defense, I think he's trying to look throughout the budget where we can squeeze out expenditures to meet that goal. But this, to me, seemed like a fight maybe he shouldn't have picked.
I would agree with that. I don't see the upside here. When kids need clothes to go to school, and I think it was Senator Oliverio brought it up. I mean, part of this isn't like, not only though I don't have a pair of jeans, but I want to fit in, and I don't want to be the guy with the jeans that are too small or too big. I just want to fit in, and that's very important to young men and women today, especially in some of your rural and poor areas. They depend on this program, and I think you guys are right. There was a time to do this, but it's not now.
Yeah, and one of the things I like is I like the concept of school uniforms to address the issue you just described, John. Where kids have a school uniform. It could be as simple as just a shirt that in some cases the school district can even provide. And it creates a level of uniformity between children of different socioeconomic classes. And I would argue with you, John, that school uniforms have only ever worked in one place. And the one place where school uniforms have worked is planet Earth. That's the one place school uniforms have worked. They have worked in Asia, they've worked in Europe, they've worked in the United States, they've worked in the poorest school systems in the country, they've worked in the wealthiest school systems in the country. You create some uniformity, they still have abundant thought, whatever they want to do. We're not teaching them to be uniform in thought. We're trying to create a uniform appearance so that it doesn't divide children. And like I say, the only place it's ever worked is planet Earth. I created law in West Virginia that if elementary schools would adopt a school uniform policy, we would give that school some additional money to be spent by the parent-teacher organization if they wanted to buy additional smart boards or whatever they wanted to do. So that's one way I think we address the clothing issue as well.
You know, I love that concept. My wife Ann, who you both know, went to Catholic school in just outside of Wilmington, Delaware, K through high school, and she had to wear, the girls had to wear a Catholic uniform. They were all the same, and she always told me that the memories of her schooling, Catholic school, was so great because that specter of what you're wearing and who was wearing what and who had the new jeans or this or that was taken away because you all had to put the same thing on. So she said that whole level of anxiety in her family, like mine, was middle class on a good day if things worked out. So they didn't have a lot of extra money. So, but she said it just took the stress out. You know, you have to do your hair, makeup, whatever, but it took the whole stress out of what I'm wearing, what's my friend wearing, you know, am I left behind, and et cetera. And so, yeah, I think, look, the object of going to school is to, you know, learn, be educated, but it also with social interaction. I mean, we learned that with the 2 years of COVID and how that set so many of our kids behind because there was no social interaction. So you're right about that. So.
Yeah, but let me tell you what else is going on in West Virginia. We just sent 15,000 scouts back home. They had come to West Virginia for the Jamboree. And what an exciting opportunity for kids from all over the country, and in some cases, kids from around the world, wearing matching uniforms, scout uniforms, John. They came to West Virginia and experienced our state's hospitality and the beauty of West Virginia. You know, a scout now has an opportunity to achieve up to 148 merit badges. And the Jamboree in Southern West Virginia was set up in such a way that a scout could achieve any one of those badges. All of the equipment, whatever it was, whether it was archery or a craft or a science, whatever it was set up at that Jamboree, that those scouts coming from all 50 states could experience that. I toured the facility, and it's absolutely phenomenal. I mean, zip lines running from here to forever, all the tents, the facilities, shooting ranges, just a phenomenal place. And you know, if somebody's listening to this show somewhere else in the country, and they have a child in scouting or a grandchild or family member, put that down on the calendar 4 years from now when that Jamboree is held again, and get those kids to West Virginia. And what we love most about it is those kids go out into the country and around the world, and they become disciples for West Virginia. Everybody knows the song Country Roads, but these kids end up literally seeing them and experiencing West Virginia. So it's a great experience for our state to be the host of that National Jamboree.
Well, West Virginia is getting more and more on the map of Americans, starting with country road songs sung on ESPN when the baseball team went to the Final Four. So people are starting to take notice of our state. I think we're going to have a great football season. I mean, I'm projecting. I know some of you guys don't agree with me. I'm projecting 6 or 7 wins. I think this team is going to be better than anybody believes they are. I think they're going to get 6 or 7 wins. I think they're going to win 3 Big 12 games. That's why we're covering it, and that's why we have our tailgate show, and that's going to be fun. And you know, people look at West Virginia only as, well, that's a good place to retire if there's no income tax. No, it's better than that. It's a great place to raise your family. There's going to be so many jobs with the data centers and the oil and the gas. There's going to be jobs aplenty there. So it's just a real opportunity. And those that are there, and you get, you know, your own kids going to Marshall or West Virginia University or one of the other colleges, stay there. Because the biggest problem we have, we talked about this, is the brain drain. And, you know, we need to keep creating an environment to keep our kids here.
I think the other thing people maybe underestimate about West Virginia as a place to come and live, and even if you are a retiree, are the healthcare resources. They're enormous here. And Gino can speak to that in that he works in the healthcare field. But, our three biggest employers now in West Virginia are WVU Medicine, a health system that spans 30 hospitals now, Vandalia Health, and Marshall Health down more in the southwestern part of the state. The opportunities to work in healthcare, the services that they provide. My own in-laws are visiting us in Morgantown this week to take advantage of healthcare offered at WVU Medicine. And I think maybe people on the outside looking in might not be aware of that, the facilities that we have here in the Mountain State.
Just a lot of opportunity. But I want to get back to, guys, I mean, just the politics of this thing with the clothing. I mean, Jim Justice is going to run for governor. Okay, I'm here in D.C. That thing is done. I mean, why would Morrissey give him? I mean, if I'm Justice, they just gave me this issue on a silver platter. He's going to go and campaign in these rural areas and say the governor didn't want to let little Johnny get a pair of jeans. I mean, why would you open yourself up to this politically to just get skewered when you know there's a primary battle pending? I mean, for the life of me, it's the political instincts here make me really wonder how Patrick is going to pull this off. I was shocked by this, and the way Pac reacted to this, I think Pac saw it too. I mean, the treasurer saw it. He just jumped on it and broke with the governor, and now they're fighting each other on X, which is never a good thing in your party. But that's a public spat now. I don't think you put that back together. And so I'm thinking to myself, if I'm the governor, Morrissey, like, how does this help me build 50% plus one in that primary?
It does. It doesn't. Gino works with children at the Children's Hospital. I think he's probably better equipped to talk about children's issues than anybody nowadays.
Gino?
I work for the Children's Hospital now. I used to work for Child Protective Services. So I've dealt a lot with families that I know for a fact are depending on resources like this. And I don't know if this is part of something. Again, I don't know if this is part of like a grander vision or a plan. I don't know why it was executed the way that it was. From the outsider's perspective that I have looking into the governor's administration, this just seems like an unforced error. It didn't have to be like this. And I mean, we can have larger, broader conversations now about the circular firing squad that has developed inside Republican politics in West Virginia. I mean, the Democrats are so irrelevant at this point. We beat the brakes off them every general election at this point. Since we've taken over, the state's only become more and more Republican because people want Republican conservative policies, and we're starting to see the fruits of that. We're trying to undo 8 decades of Democrat rule. We've invested a lot of effort into doing that. I think we've been successful up until this point. But because we can't blame Democrats for our problems anymore, there's only 9 of them in the House. There's only 2 of them in the Senate. Well, Republicans are fighters. No matter what, we love to fight. We have more diversity of thought in our party than on the left. And I think, unfortunately, one of the cons that comes with that is we all have different ideas about what it means to be a conservative. We all have different ideas of what it means to be Republican. And it's just in this particular instance, though, I feel like everybody across the spectrum is kind of scratching their heads wondering why the governor decided to do this. And we just can't figure it out. Again, big conversations, if they need to be had, we want to be a part of them. We want to come up with solutions that actually make sense. However, you can't delay these applications for 3 weeks and then close them after 5 and then blame all these things. The treasurer knows. The legislature allocated these funds. They should be there. I can't figure out why this happened.
It speaks to bigger issues, I think. And I'm just a political observer here. You guys are inside. But just as a political observer, it speaks to the continual breakdown in communication between the governor's office and the State House. And I've heard this, guys, like I said earlier, from so many people that it's just not good communication. I think the governor, like you said, didn't put his thumb on the scale He basically took a bazooka to it. His results were 50-50 in the election. I mean, if you're going to do that, what's the old saying? If you're going to take out the queen, you better take her out, or take out the king, you better not wound him. That's kind of what happened. And so he lost a lot of political chips there with some of the people that he opposed won. So he didn't sweep the table. So he's got that going against him. And now he got this justice thing looming. I don't know where Patrick puts together 50% plus one. The other thing that bothered me about this is the political, it showed, for a guy as savvy as he is, it showed just a lack of political instinct and awareness of what your situation is within the General Assembly. He's in a precarious spot here. So I saw, like, why even do it? You find the money somewhere else. I mean, or go to Virginia and recruit 10 businesses in and make it up in tax dollars. I mean, do that. I can't for the life of me figure this out.
I think some of this comes from the hubris trap of politics, where a little bit of an overestimation of the mandate. One of the big things that the House really focused on this past session was job creation, growth of the economy. We passed a huge bill that I think would have been a massive help for West Virginia. Team West Virginia would have been a nationwide economic recruitment effort to bring companies here. Couldn't get the traction that we needed. The governor wasn't necessarily in support of it, because it kind of took a little bit of that out from under his umbrella and established its own identity. I think that we're going to continue to have these problems because, like I mentioned earlier, I'm starting to think that this is a feature and not a bug of what's actually going on.
Bingo. I mean, we just got to the purpose of the show is to truth and clarity. And to me, this is a huge issue. And that's what, look, Pac's got good instincts, right? He's got good political instincts. He thinks one day he can be governor. He jumped on this thing immediately. And then when they responded to him, he fired back again. And his arguments were pretty sound. So it really elevated Pac here. I mean, he's got good instincts, but I think you're right. And like you said, you guys tried to put something together to go out and recruit companies. I mean, if I was advising the governor, and I'm not, so who cares what I say, but it would be like, hey, spend the next, 30 of the next 60 days recruiting companies in Virginia and Maryland who hate their state and they just want to get out. Just get them there. I mean, Terry McAuliffe did that when he was governor. Glenn Youngkin did that as Virginia governor, went around and just got companies in when they both had a favorable climate. If you're in Virginia right now and you own a business, it sucks. You want to get out of there. But where do you move? So you guys have a tremendous opportunity. Same with Inner Maryland. So I don't know why you just wouldn't go out, get 10, 15 companies and make up that money. Like that. Boom, done.
The governor's got about $400 million available for economic development investments at this point. And that money's been available since the start of his term for 18 months now. And I don't know if philosophically he doesn't want to govern in that way, but boy, in the past, we've made some investments that have really bared a lot of fruit. And so that's an opportunity there to do precisely what you're saying. And admittedly, the political climate next door in Virginia and Maryland is ripe for us to recruit companies to our side of the state line.
We have huge power players. We have Procter & Gamble, we have Berkshire Hathaway, we have Toyota, we have Nucor. The list goes on. We can make it happen here. We just have to have the will to do it.
And you got to go out and you've got to sell your state. You got to sell it. And you got to sell your opportunity. And if you got $400 million, spend it, use it, get it done.
John, what's going to happen in the Virginia elections today?
It's very bland. Mizrawawa is probably going to win. If I was there, I'd have voted for David Williams. Neither of them can beat Warner. All right. So to me, it's all about saving one seat, Kiggins, in the second district in Hampton Roads. I want a senatorial candidate that's going to get a higher total in order to save Jen Tiggins in Virginia Beach. That's it. I mean, that's just, look, I just deal in reality. Warner's going to win. He's got a ton of money. There's not a candidate who can beat him. But I would vote for the candidate, the highest number of votes in order to save Jen Tiggins in the 2nd district. We win that, we got a shot to hold the House. So I think a little bit differently. So I would have voted for David Williams. But I'm not there. I'm in Washington, D.C., Ward 2 chairman, and I voted for myself.
Gotcha. We'll have a great midterm convention.
I'm going to see you guys. I know I'm going to see you guys on my tailgate show.
Yes.
Before the first West Virginia game. We got to get elevated. We got to get Gino involved.
Let's
Gino,
do
you
it.
know a little bit about football. Gino, come on. You know a little
I know
bit.
enough to have a good time.
I
Anytime.
know, right? This is the pregame show. We're calling it the Mountaineer Tailgate Show, from the press box to the parking lot. Okay, this is for the people. This is the people's pregame show, right?
Yeah.
This is the people's show. This isn't like, we're not up there in suits and ties, and we're not, ESPN, and we're not doing all that. This is for the people. This is the people's show, and you guys are going to be right in the middle of it.
We love it. We love it. Thanks for having us on today, John.
Always, Gino. Thank you.
Always.
Senator Michael Laverio, thank you. You guys are the best, and I enjoy it. It's my fun hour, and get the governor, go out there to Virginia right now and just get companies. Nobody wants to be there.
We're all on board.
I'll see you guys later. Michael Patrick Leahy coming up next. Keep it right here.
U.S. Attorney Janine Pirro for dropping the reflecting pool vandalism case. Stock sharply higher on Wall Street. The Dow is up 545 points, gain of 1%. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Hi, I'm Kirk Cameron. Christian Healthcare Ministries is not another health insurance policy. If you're tired of year-long contracts and pointless restrictions, CHM offers anytime enrollment on your schedule and at your convenience. With CHM,